Want to sell more on Amazon, retired, or just need extra money? America's Amazon expert Dylan Frost will show you how. Attend Dylan's live in-person seminar for only $49.99, guaranteed, or your money back. That's right. Discover the easy way to make money with Amazon. Meet Dylan Frost at the Wholesale Formula Live 2-hour seminar Saturday, September 30th, 11 a.m. at Aviator Hotel, Lindbergh Boulevard, St. Louis, Missouri. Register at thewholesaleformula.com.
Hey, KMOX listeners, Roger Wigginton here, Don Rogers Limited, 6727 West Main in Belleville. Hey, for years I've carried a great line of travel fabric from Artex of Canada in black and navy. We have the fitted 3/4 sleeve carding, the basic shell, and the cigarette pant. Totally wash and wear, wrinkle-free, like wearing pajamas, and priced right. Also from Renoir, our ankle pant in 12 colors. Now, on a tall gal, it's an ankle pant. All my petite customers, they put it on. They need no alterations. We have 12 colors. The new colors are charcoal gray, butterscotch, military green, and chocolate brown, besides all your basic black, navy, and all the other basic colors. So don't forget, we're really going into fall now. Hopefully the hot, humid weather is behind us. The fall goods are rolling in every day. The store is full of fall already. Don't forget, we're open Tuesday through Saturday, 9:30 to 4. Park at the door. Walk in, get waited on. There's Don Rogers Limited. And as always, I thank you so very much for listening to our commercial.
KMOX, the 2023 Large Market Radio Station of the Year, recognized by the Missouri Broadcasters Association. KMOX, we were built for this.
Amy Marks Coors, Chris Ranji on KMOX. Oh, geez, I just lost the mouse on my computer over here, and now I can't.
His mouse is dangling.
Oh, man, I fixed it, though. We're okay now. We were just talking about Mitt Romney, who has said, he has announced that he is no longer running for Senate. He's not going to run for another term for the Senate of Utah. But he says he's still going to be out there for the people.
Well, I'm not running for re-election. I'm not retiring from the fight. I'll be your United States Senator until January of 2025. I will keep working on these and other issues, and I'll advance our state's numerous priorities. I look forward to working with you and with folks across our state and nation in that endeavor.
Yeah.
I would like to think that the mindset that he at least appears to have, that he wants to work with everybody. I think all of us who have been paying attention to politics closely, or even, just a little bit, would like for both sides to work together a little bit more. And I know that some of the polling doesn't really say that necessarily. Yeah. There are some polls out there that say they want their party to do whatever it takes to win no matter what.
Well, sure, they're the enemy. We will be negative partisanship. If you're for it, I'm against it.
That it's almost seen as a bad thing if the two sides work together and compromise, which is the general populace. There's no way most people feel that way.
No, I agree. And I think but I'm just going to throw this out there. I do think it's hard to work together on certain issues, specifically some of the most divisive cultural issues. I think it's probably easier to work together when you're talking about policy towards China or even Ukraine, right? But when you're talking about some of the very, very emotional topics, like transgender care or abortion, it can be hard to work together. Because I imagine you and I, senators, trying to sponsor a bill together, and it's on one of those previous two very emotionally contested issues. I think it would be hard, even for you and I, as really good friends, it would be hard to come to an agreement on a bill that we both supported. Don't you think so?
Yes, but there's got to be some middle ground. There's got to be some. All right, look.
I'm not saying there shouldn't be. I'm just saying I can see how on some issues it's hard.
I can too, but every issue ain't like that.
No.
But we're acting like every single thing is, and you can't be even given the appearance that you're conceding anything to the other side. And I honestly do think it's worse on one side more so than the other, and that's just my opinion. You may disagree with me. But I think that's how it is. That how like many Ukraine. Times have we used or seen anybody use the term dino We hear Rhino all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, Republican in name only. Constantly, people in the Republican Party are being accused of not being Republicans. That does not really happen in the Democratic Party.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was saying earlier, that the rift, the chasm within the GOP, which could cleave the party in two, it could. That chasm doesn't exist in the same way in the Democratic Party, but partly because the party as a whole has moved to the left, and the very fringy people are kept in check better in the Democratic Party than they are in the Republican Party. We have been hijacked by fringy people, and when you're hijacked by fringy people, being fringe is one of your great qualities. So if too many people agree with you and you're no longer fringe, you're not special anymore. So you have to out-fringe your political opponent. It's in the same way that John Hancock said last week that he used to make it a policy that he would never get involved in Republican primaries. He only helped Republicans beat Democrats. Now all he does is help Republicans beat other Republicans.
It's a very different dynamic now. There's a bug over there, isn't there?
There is a
He was flying at me too.
And I
sent him your way. I said, go bother her.
Yeah.
I'm not into it. Text messages 314-436-7900. A texter says, Amy is spot on this one, Chris. Hashtag Team Amy. I don't know what specifically, but
were we kind of agreeing though?
I don't know. I think it was. This may have been from the last segment.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
If
it's Andy, it's too late.
I
Andy.
don't think. Yeah,
it's too late. Andy Candy from Crown Candy.
I don't think it's Andy Carranza. I don't think it was him.
Raunchy.
This texter says Republicans have moved from pro-law, pro-military to a candidate who wants to suspend the Constitution and refused a peaceful transition of power. So that's, I think that you and John Hancock, who have been lifelong Republicans, as long as you've been following politics, would agree to that. I think you would all agree that nothing has changed with you. You've been Republican this entire time, but the idea of what a Republican has changed pretty dramatically in the last 10 to 15 years.
Right, because
to some people.
Yeah, and Republicanism, as I knew it, really was classical liberalism. And I know the word liberal freaks out conservatives, but it shouldn't. When you think of liberal, you kind of think of the way Rush Limbaugh used the word, the liberal media. But I use the word progressive in that sense, because classic liberalism, a classical liberal, is someone who believes in small government and freedom of thought and the free market, and American principles are classical liberal principles. Okay, so that's why I use progressive to delineate the left from the right. But this very hostile, belligerent, antagonistic conservatism GOP is relatively new. And not only that, but it's not opposed to big spending. It's not opposed to big government. That's not conservatism as I know it. Like I mentioned, Sohrab Ahmari from the New York Post retweeting a story titled, or an opinion piece, Conservatives Against Capitalism. There is space for conservatives to embrace social democratic economic policies in service to traditionalist and conservative ends. That's a new take. That is a government first take. That's the Ron DeSantis mentality. I don't like Disney. This is Ron DeSantis. Doesn't like Disney's, what he considers to be woke policies, their cultural political leanings. So he is going to leverage the state government against a private company. That's concerning because that could be used the other way. That can be used against Hobby Lobby and Chick-fil-A and churches and homeschoolers. And that's what Ron DeSantis is arguing is, let's leverage state governments against companies that we don't agree with. I think that's very dangerous.
The text message from a 636, and you're welcome to text the show, 314-436-7900. This is the kind of thing that really bugs me. This sort of mindset. And this text says, liberalism is a mental disease. And there are a lot of people who think that way. What is liberalism? Right. By definition, what it means is openness to other ideas. That's what it means. And in terms of politics, the way I see it, people who tend to be liberal tend to want to make sure you have health care that you can afford, that you have a living wage, that people who are on the fringes are also able to be seen. How is that a mental disease?
Yeah, they're saying Democrats,
It's
and
a
then they're putting them in the
ridiculous mindset to
same
say
group
that.
with very, very leftist fringe leanings and saying they're all one, and that's not true.
It's ridiculous. But anyway, people feel that way. Major Garrett will join us next. We'll talk about this, all kinds of things happening in Washington. There's a lot of stuff happening in Washington. That's next on KMOX.
He's Michael Kelly. I love getting to spend time talking politics. He's John Hancock.
You never know what we're going to be talking about.
It's Hancock and Kelly.
Boy, what a pair.
Now part of Expanded Total Information AM. Friday mornings at 8:30.
Now that people know we're going to be on every Friday, they can avoid listening to us.
Nah, they'll be listening. Everybody wants to hear common sense political discourse.
Hancock and Kelly. Hear what they've got to say. Friday mornings, 8:30 till 10. Only on KMOX.
It is 10:28. The time check brought to you by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Make the Goodwill choice. Donate to Goodwill and help put people to work right here in St. Louis. And help yourself to a Lion's Choice famous roast beef sandwich. Clean out those closets and cabinets. Take your donations to Goodwill during the month of September, and you'll get a coupon for an original Lion's Choice roast beef sandwich, courtesy of Lion's Choice. Give hope. Give local. Give Goodwill. It's the right choice for Lion's Choice. Hurry, supplies are limited. Get details at mersgoodwill.org.
Hey guys, it's Dave and Rachel from The Dave Glover Show.
So Smart Mouth is the only mouth rinse in the world that has a chemical reaction that makes sure that your bad breath is gone for 12 hours at a time, which means 24 hours a day, zero bad breath.
Yeah, all you have to do is rinse twice and you are covered for 24 hours. That means you never have bad breath. Plus, there's a product to fit whatever your needs are. To learn more, go to their website, smartmouth.com/Glover. And while you're there, you can get a coupon for $2.50 off.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends Mark and Neil Gelman from thegelmanteam.com. If you need to sell your home to buy a new one, it's never been more important to have an experienced negotiator that you can trust. You need my friends Mark and Neil Gelman on your side, fighting for every last dollar. Go to thegelmanteam.com.
Can you imagine efficiency and productivity at an all-time high?
Everyone is happier.
And everything is cleaner.
You no longer have to think about all the junk that's in your way.
We're 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
You're incredibly good at what you do.
We're good at what we do, too.
Why not outsource the cleanup to us?
Put us in the game, Coach. Put us in the game.
We're industrial strength magicians.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
At 10:30, we've got sun and 70 degrees downtown at the Arch. A Georgia judge has ruled that former President Donald Trump and 16 others will be tried separately from 2 defendants who are set to go to trial next month in the case accusing them all of participating in an illegal scheme to overturn the results of the 2020 election. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy warns against a government shutdown in the Republican push for deep spending cuts.
We're going to get this done. Nobody wins in a government shutdown. Nobody wins in a government shutdown. I've been here. But what we want to do is we want to be able to win the policies that we've been fighting for and telling the American public.
I'm Tom Ackerman. Cardinal baseball tomorrow. The Redbirds have the day off today after winning 2 out of 3 in Atlanta, Cincinnati, and Baltimore. They take all the series on the road trip. They host the Phillies tomorrow night. It'll be Aaron Nola pitching for the Phillies. Nola is going to be a free agent at the end of the season. Cardinals fans, knowing that the Cardinals have to fill some spots in the rotation, certainly will have their eyes on him. Zach Thompson starts for St. Louis. We'll have it for you on KMOX tomorrow night. This report sponsored by Aloha Pools USA. Swim next summer. AlohaPoolsUSA.com.
We've got a vehicle fire, 44 going east at 141. The right lane is closed. Some slow-moving road work, 44 west at the MLK Bridge in the right lane. Also on 55 south at the exit to 255 east. The right lane is closed. Clear and cool tonight, the low 55. For tomorrow, nice with plenty of sunshine, a high 81 at the moment. Sun and 70 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Football is back, and so is Cash the Ticket. Jim Costa with Mike Valeni every week this fall. That's picks, parlays, and that's sweet, sweet value, Cactus included, on all the NFL and college football matchups. Full breakdowns on the biggest games, but if you have a life, you don't have 45 minutes to spare, we've got you. We're the most on-demand podcast. We're catered to you and the teams you love. That's Cash the Ticket. Listen on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Broadcasting from the Underlaw Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
Hey, it's Matzo Matt here for Brewpub Lots and Matzo Pizza. You know, the other day I was talking to my teenage son while enjoying a slice.
Yo, Dad, it's been a minute since I've had a Brewpub pizza.
Well, son, actually, it's been about a 15 to 17-minute cook time or until the cheese is a golden brown.
Nah, that's totally sus.
Oh, yeah, the sauce, bold flavor, generously portioned, so good.
Absolutely drippy.
When you have over half a pound of award-winning Wisconsin mozzarella cheese on each pizza, of course it's going to drip.
Bet.
You don't believe me?
Hey, no cap.
Have as many slices as you want. No matter how you say it, Brewpub pizzas are the best.
Charlie Brennan here. Last year, Beth and I discovered water in the ceiling near the chimney in the front of our house. We immediately called Morelli Tuck Pointing, St. Louis's premier tuck pointer since 1991. The Morelli team then tuck pointed the front and the rear chimneys above the roof and spot tuck pointed below the roof. Morelli used a waterproof mortar that perfectly matched the existing mortar. Then the guys re-cemented the cap, sealed the flashing, and waterproofed the chimney. They then cleaned up so you could never tell any work was done. The Brennans no longer see any water in our front room, and I think if you live in a brick or stone home in need of repair, call the company that's received the Angie's List Super Service Award every year, back to back to back since 2005. Morelli, winner of the BBB Torch Award. Check out their reviews on the Google, Angie's List, and Better Business Bureau websites. MorelliTuckPointing.com, 314-645-1387.
What defines us is who we are as a collective group and how we progress and gain momentum through the season.
The Coach's Corner with St. Louis City coach Bradley Carnell. Mondays at 9:35 on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
It's Chris and Amy on KMOX, 10:30, just after 10:30 on Thursday morning. What does that mean? It's time for our weekly visit with the chief Washington correspondent for CBS News and the author of The Big Truth, Upholding Democracy in the Age of the Big Lie, host of the Takeout podcast. Joining us on this Thursday is Major Elliott Garrett, who is with us now. How's it going, Major?
Oh, dropping in the middle name.
I love it.
See.
I
see.
Yeah, I love your middle name. I
think you should start saying, I'm Major Elliott Garrett.
All right. So since you have unearthed my middle name, I will tell you about a long-held but never to be realized journalistic fantasy of mine. I want to emphasize journalistic fantasy.
Okay.
As opposed to any of those other ones.
Yes, exactly. Which
They're
would
all
get us
equally
into all
good.
sorts of FCC trouble, so we're not going to go there.
Yes.
So, as anyone who started in the print world, as I did, would have done, I thought maybe one day I'll work for the New York Times. And anyone who reads the New York Times, and especially when I was reading in the 80s and 90s, you would come across what I would characterize as quintessential New York Times bylines. Like there's a very famous political correspondent in the 70s, 80s, 90s named Johnny Apple. That's what his name is. But his New York Times byline was R.W. Apple Jr. Okay?
That's awesome.
Everyone knew him as Johnny, but his New York Times byline was R.W. Apple Jr. Okay? So stay with me. I thought if I ever work for the New York Times, my byline will read M. Elliott Garrett.
Oh, that's good.
I like
Isn't that good?
Yeah,
that's
isn't that
really
great?
good. It sounds so literary.
Listen.
You sound like
Doesn't that sound like the New York Times? You know,
it does.
M. Elliott Garrett. You know, but it was never to be, never will be. But that's what I've always conjured in my head.
You know, going back to H. Ross Perot, I used to have this feeling about the initial being the first name.
Yeah.
But I've come around on it quite a bit. I like it.
Because like with my books, I'm Amy L. Mark Scores. Like when I write, but it's different than if I were A. And then my middle name is Louise. I'd be A. Louise Mark Scores.
That would work too.
But I like M.
Yeah, I think
Elliott
it's good.
Garrett. See, Major, I don't think that dream is dead because let's say you have a long, vibrant career at CBS And in your
Trust me, it's dead.
no, but you could write opinion pieces for the New York
On
Times.
television, he doesn't need it.
No, not that he needs it. It's after he retires. He
Oh,
can
when he
sit,
retires.
sit in a chair, a comfy chair, and opine. Finally, Major
Oh.
gets to opine. Oh,
Guess what I will not do when I retire is opine. Nobody needs to hear what I have to say.
Well, we
they'll be
need
like, we've had enough. I thought you retired. Doesn't retirement mean you've gone away?
Listen, Major, we need to hear what you have to say.
Okay.
Let's see. Where should we start? How about with the announcement? We were talking about Mitt Romney, who says he's not running for Senate. And one of the quotes that came out yesterday from the book written by McKay Coppins about him was, I'm not surprised he said it, and the exact words were, quote, "A very large portion of my party really doesn't believe in the Constitution." Those are Mitt Romney's words. When you hear that, what do you think?
I think that is something that the Republican Party and this country and its two-party system have to grapple with. And I've known Senator Romney for several years. I didn't cover his campaign in 2012 or 2008, but I've known him for a long time. I sporadically covered both of those campaigns, but not on a day-to-day basis. I've covered him in the Senate. He's someone who picks his words carefully, perhaps too carefully. He's too guarded. That was one of the things I think that inhibited his presidential campaign in 2012. And he chose those words carefully. And what I think he means is they believe in the Constitution as they either think it's written or think it means, the words in it, what it means. Because you can't support the big lie in 2020 and believe in the Constitution. You can't regard the prosecution of former President Trump in Georgia as illegitimate if you believe in the Constitution. Why? Let me be very brief about this. The Constitution, as written, gives to states control over time, manner, and place of their elections. It defers that authority to the state. And the Electoral College component of the Constitution, which can be found in Article 2, describes the powers of the states to send their Electoral College votes in the allocation of a presidential election. Both are being protected by the state of Georgia under the constitutional powers given to it as a state in the Constitution. You cannot have a clearer or more black and white defined assertion of states' rights to protect an election than what Georgia's doing right now with former President Trump and all those who are trying to undermine the verified, not once, not twice, but 3 times verified and certified election results. That is the state protecting its interests. And if you believe that prosecution is illegitimate, then you don't believe in those constitutional allocations of A, authority, and then B, the right to protect that authority given to you under the Constitution. And lots of Republicans don't even believe that a matter like that should ever be prosecuted by a state. Well, if you believe that, then you fundamentally don't believe what the Constitution clearly states. And I think that's one very clear, and we are living through it now, example of Republicans not actually, in real terminology, believing in the Constitution as written and as historically understood.
Well, continuing with turmoil and tumult, we have Kevin McCarthy this week announcing that they would begin an impeachment inquiry into President Joe Biden. This is, of course, focused on Biden's alleged involvement with his son, Hunter Biden's business dealings. Where do we stand with that?
So the inquiry is in motion. What does that mean? That means the Speaker of the House has told lots of committees to continue their work on developing information that might lead to a formal impeachment proceeding against the president. It's not dramatically different, but it invokes that word, impeachment. That starts the process rolling. And experience has taught us, once you start that process rolling, it is very hard to stop it. Very hard to stop it. It takes on a life of its own. And the allegations briefly run like this: 5 million, 10 million, 20 million. The number varies, but it's a lot of money, according to the accusations coming from House Republicans, was collected by business entities involved with principally by Hunter Biden that enriched the Biden family generally and may have enriched President Biden specifically. That last part remains very foggy in terms of evidence. Very foggy in terms of evidence. But Republicans have alleged it. Now, very quickly, when we did the Ukraine impeachment of President Trump, Nancy Pelosi did the same thing. Launched an inquiry without a formal House vote. 2 weeks ago, Kevin McCarthy said he would never do that. He would only have an inquiry if the full House, of a majority of the House supported it, not the full House, but the majority of the House, meaning enough Republicans. Well, since he doesn't have the votes among Republicans to do that, he won't do that. He said he'll do it maybe in 5 or 6 weeks. We'll see. It's going to be hard to achieve a majority there that he doesn't have yet, but he very well might. But once started, impeachment processes typically lead to impeachment votes in the House and then a trial in the Senate. Will President Biden be impeached and convicted? No. Senate Republicans have almost zero interest in this presently. Almost zero, near zero. So this is a fascination and an investigatory impulse driven principally by House Republicans and specifically by the most Trump-influenced House Republicans.
Meanwhile, Kevin McCarthy is facing heat from the likes of Matt Gaetz, in particular Matt Gaetz, with the threat of removing him from his speakership. Is that going to go anywhere?
Probably not, because there's no viable alternative. And if you're going to, I mean, think about it. Think about this just for a second. Just as an abstraction, let's take the names out of it. You have a majority in the House of Representatives that wants to impeach the president of a different party. Meanwhile, they want to sack the leader of that House, trying to impeach the president of the other party. Would that not, and again, forget party labels or names, wouldn't that just in general suggest deep disarray and confusion and the inability to establish clear priorities? I mean, who's the bigger offending party for this House majority? Again, let's not say it's Republican. Let's not say it's Kevin McCarthy. Just any generic House majority. What's more important? Impeaching the president of the United States for high crimes and misdemeanors, or getting rid of your leader? Who's more corrupt or unreliable or untrustworthy or odious? If you can't make up your mind about that, what kind of functional majority do you actually have? I think it's a more than average question to be asking right now.
Major, who is on the takeout this week?
So there's a gentleman who serves in the House of Representatives. He was elected in 1996. His name is Adam Smith. No, not the first economist ever. He's long dead, and there are lots of pictures you can find of him on the internet. But Adam Smith is from Washington State. He is the ranking Democrat on the House Armed Services Committee. That makes him a very important voice in national security, and we do talk about national security issues. Primarily, however, we have a long conversation about a book he wrote this year about his 6-year struggle with deep anxiety, chronic pain, and depression. Those are three things that lots of Americans deal with, and often deal with alone or deal with feeling as if they are alone. And this is a guy who's a powerful member of Congress, could get any doctor on the phone in any state, in any jurisdiction, for any ailment he had. And for 6 years, he went through dozens upon dozens of therapists, physicians, physical therapists, to try to get a handle of these three things: anxiety, depression, and chronic pain. And it almost wrecked him. And we talk candidly about that struggle, those struggles, and how hard it was, even as a powerful member of Congress, to find the help he needed to get better. He's better now, but he was in a world of hurt for 6 years. And he's extremely open and honest and candid about how hard that struggle was.
It's fascinating. Sounds fascinating. It is on the Odyssey app or anywhere you get your podcasts. It is the Takeout Podcast. The author of The Big Truth, Upholding Democracy in the Age of the Big Lie, and chief Washington correspondent for CBS News, M. Elliott Garrett, is with us on KMOX. Thank you, Major.
Thanks, guys. We'll talk next week.
Thank you.
I like it. Go by the first initial.
I love it.
Like F. Scott Fitzgerald.
Yep.
J. Edgar Hoover.
That's right.
P. Diddy Combs. That's a first initial.
You know, for you to just come up with that off the top of your head, that's pretty impressive.
H. John Benjamin. You probably don't know him. He is a comedian. He's the voice of Archer.
Mm-hmm.
Archer and Bob's Burgers. He's on that show.
And I know the two initials like H.L. Mencken or G.K. Chesterton, but that's not the same. That's not the same.
Oh, who's the other actor? Something Murray Abraham. Is it H?
H. Murray Abraham?
F. Murray Abraham.
F. Murray Abraham.
Yep. All right.
Hey,
Did you see what?
Last question. What would you be? C.
Michael?
C. Michael Ranji.
I don't like it.
Yeah, it's not good.
No. Did you see this next on KMOX?
Hey, did you see that Michael's Baths has partnered with me and KMOX? I'm so excited to work with them, tell you about them because they are a locally owned and operated company, a family owned and operated company. Mike and his daughter, they run Michael's Baths, and they built their company on quality and not quantity. They truly believe that they have the very best products at the very best prices. And you may be thinking, how is that possible, especially if they're a smaller company? Well, they're able to work directly with manufacturers. So when you get a quote from Michael's Baths, a lot of times that quote is 30 to 50% less than their competitors. They have a 5-star rating on Google. That is so hard to do these days. People love to criticize. So to get a 5-star rating on Google means you have exceptional service. And they have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. So if your shower is getting too hard to clean, maybe you need a shower to tub conversion, you need a walk-in shower or a walk-in tub, they can help with it all. They can add safety features such as grab bars, a seat, a handheld shower, or truly non-slip base, any of that, they've got you. michaelsbaths.com, 636-775-0800.
KMOX is a proud sponsor of the Great Forest Park Balloon Race, presented by PNC Bank. Festivities begin at 5 p.m. Friday, September 15th for the Balloon Glow, and at noon on race day, September 16th. Feast your eyes on nearly 70 hot air balloons at the newly renovated Central Fields in Forest Park, surrounded by family-friendly activities and entertainment. The Balloon Glow and race are free to attend. For more info on the Great Forest Park Balloon Race, head to KMOX.com/events.
When choosing a skilled nursing memory care community, considered by U.S. News and World Reports as a best memory care community, choose Parc Provence, where expert care is not cost prohibitive because they understand the challenges of today. For nearly 20 years, Parc Provence has been the experts at treating dementia and Alzheimer's disease. If you're faced with making a difficult decision for your loved one, call today at 314-542-2500 or visit parcprovence.com. That's PARC Provence.com.
This cardboard order, is it up to date?
Camila's Recyclable Coffee Cup Factory can no longer be considered a grande.
Redesign? It's at the printer.
She needs more designers to jump the business to a triple shot.
Client wants to see several more design options. The logo's gotta be bigger.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates, and you can schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from the Indeed dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Venture X from Capital One is the travel card for people always asking,
Where next?
You earn 10x miles on hotels and rental cars, and 5x miles on flights booked through Capital One Travel, and 2x miles on everything else you buy with Venture X. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges. The Venture X card from Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
I'm Brian Westbrook with Coalition Life. Over the past decade, Coalition Life has served thousands of women in crisis pregnancies, helping to save the lives of the children that they carry. Help us build a better community while also reducing or completely eliminating your Missouri taxes with a 70% tax credit. A $1,000 donation today to help these women could cost you as little as $141 out of pocket. Learn more at coalitionlife.com, coalitionlife.com. Thank you.
While interest rates are skyrocketing everywhere else, Diamonds Direct comes to the rescue. Now for a limited time, get 0% interest for 5 years on anything and everything. Now through October 1st, you get Diamonds Direct's incredible value price and spread your payments over 5 years with an unheard of interest rate of 0.0%. Nothing's held back. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets. At a time when you need it most, Diamonds Direct steps up with the best offer in the nation. Don't miss it. Get details, showroom hours, and more at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. On approved credit.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
Hi, this is Kent Newbold for Newbold BMW. Do not trust your BMW to some quickie lube place. Bring it to our award-winning service department. That's Newbold BMW in O'Fallon, Illinois, or newboldbmw.com. You'll be sold on Newbold.
Gillette Intimate gives guys a gentle and easy shave on there. And around there, and even under there. Don't treat your groin like junk. Respect it with Gillette Intimate, the best a man can get. Buy now at a retailer near you.
It's wonderful. It's incredible.
It's the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Did you see that thing? I can't believe it. Something is obviously wrong.
This is a joke, right?
Oh my God.
Are you freaking kidding me?
No way.
You gotta be kidding me. Don't feel bad. There's no way you could have known that.
Now, did you see this with Chris and Amy on the show?
Amy, did you see the thing? And I meant to bring it up yesterday, but we had too much going on. Lauren Boebert out of Colorado, who is a Republican House of Representatives person, you know her, got kicked out of a theater. She was in a theater watching Beetlejuice with her new man.
I don't think I know anything. Ugh, never mind. She is what a weirdo.
So anyway, apparently they were
Did she have an old man in office and now has a new man?
Well, no, she's divorced.
Okay.
She has a new man in her life.
Okay.
So they get kicked out. She was vaping, or they were vaping and maybe recording the show with the phone. And then so there's video of the usher escorting them out and whatever. Turns out that bipartisanship does exist because apparently, according to the Daily Mail, is dating a Democrat right now. And
Lauren Boebert?
Democrat, 46-year-old bar owner Quinn Gallagher, who is a Democrat. So see, true love can exist on both sides of the aisle.
Man, I wonder if she
Isn't
should
that
tell
nice?
her constituents that. I have something that's going to make you super mad.
Great. I love to be mad.
So, Britain's largest pub company, they have 800 locations across the UK, Stonegate Group. They recently announced that they will be adopting surge pricing for beer.
What do you mean surge pricing? Like if it's busy?
They are going to increase costs during peak times. Beer is more expensive if it's a popular time to go drink beer.
All right. I hate it. I understand what they're getting at. I hate it. It's not going to affect me because I rarely go to the UK. But my concern with that is this, that companies and bars over here see that idea and go, you know what? That sounds pretty good.
Yeah. So
maybe we'll try that.
Maybe they'll try dynamic pricing. They claim that they're trying to offset higher costs for staffing and licensing requirements. But so during popular times, during peak times, they will charge more for beer. But AMC Theaters, if you remember, they had dynamic pricing for popular seats and tested it out this past year and have decided they're going to abandon the practice because they found that surge pricing models, quote, did not affect revenue and really annoyed people who were just trying to see a movie.
That's stupid.
Right?
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
That can't last for very long.
But I mean, you look at Ticketmaster and the dynamic pricing where that whole Bruce Springsteen concert, $4,000 seats were going for.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
And a lot of baseball stadiums, well, I guess all stadiums have done it. They've moved to a dynamic pricing, all sports.
You can't dynamic price beer. That's criminal.
You can if it's like, all right, the Cardinals are hosting the Yankees.
No.
A team that everybody wants to see. I understand that ticket being
How
more
can you understand
versus the Pirates.
What are you? Some type of big business Republican? What's wrong with you?
No,
the
I think
working
that
man.
it
We
makes
can't
sense.
afford it over
and
here.
a Pirates ticket be cheaper? I think it makes sense.
You are a big business Republican. You don't care about the working man.
I am. It's time for employees to get back in line, get in their place, and stop buying avocado toast. That's Amy Marks Kors. I'm Chris Ranji. This is KMOX.
Hi, it's Tom Ackerman for Ophthalmology Associates, 314-966-5000, 12990 Manchester Road, just a half mile west of 270. I was there this year for my annual eye health examination, and I'm so happy that I did. Not only is my vision in good shape, but now I have peace of mind that I have good health. You see, an eye health examination can detect many health issues like diabetes or high blood pressure. So it's nice to know that they were able to check me over. Also, it was covered by my medical insurance, and I did not realize that the first time that I went for an annual eye exam. So that's terrific. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andrew Royer, very thankful for them. Ophthalmology Associates, the doctors, 314-966-5000. You should also schedule your eye exam and reach out to them. And when you do, tell them that Tom Ackerman sent you to Ophthalmology Associates. Also online at youridoc.com.
It looks like wood, it feels like wood, but it's maintenance free. It's luxurious James Hardie siding. And during Banner Construction's 30th anniversary event, you get same as cash financing on Hardie products and Pella windows. Let Banner Construction transform your home into the envy of the neighborhood. Call now and have Banner's design team give you some great options and a free quote. 314-569-1050. Online, bannerconstruction.com. That's 569-1050. And have a banner day.
Spark St. Louis is the newest collaborative co-working office space located in the PwC Pennant Building at Ballpark Village. Spark supports local entrepreneurs and corporate professionals and features over 80 private offices, day pass options, monthly networking events, conference room, and special event amenities, while offering an innovative approach to city life where you can live, work, and watch the Cardinals play all within the neighborhood at Ballpark Village. Schedule your tour today by visiting Spark St. Louis online at spark-stl.com.
KMOX, KEZK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The home of the Cardinals, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Luke Combs here, and I have an exclusive opportunity for you to win $500,000 with the Living Lucky with Luke Combs Lottery Experience. Join me in Nashville for a private concert at the iconic Ryman Auditorium. One lucky winner will win $500,000 at the end of the show. Y'all feeling lucky? Enter today.
Enter your Living Lucky with Luke Combs Scratchers tickets at MoLottery.com for a chance to win a private concert experience and a chance at $500,000. Play it forward with the Missouri Lottery and play responsibly.
We all know how important nutrition is to our health, so why don't we do something about it? With Neovitin Men's 50 Plus, you can give your body sensible doses of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants to support your daily health. Formulated for men over 50, Neovitin Men's 50 Plus gives you B vitamins to support energy and our proprietary physician-formulated blend for daily support you won't find anywhere else. Do something about your health today with Neovitin Men's 50 Plus. Available at your local Schnucks and Dierbergs.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 11 o'clock, we've got sun and 72 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun. Our top story this hour. Thousands of blue-collar vehicle plant workers could be on strike starting at midnight as the UAW and Big Three automakers in the U.S. still appear far apart in getting to a new general contract. At the opening of the Detroit Auto Show, Ford CEO Jim Farley saying his company has made several generous counterproposals, but union president Sean Fain is not responding.
The first time I even found out that Sean Fain had seen our offer was tonight on Facebook Live when I watched it myself and my team. We're here. We're ready to negotiate. But it's sure hard to negotiate a contract when there's no one to negotiate with.
Thousands of GM workers in Wentzville build pickup trucks and vans. If you're noticing more traffic these days, there is a reason. CBS News correspondent Cammie McCormick.
Census Bureau numbers show the rate of workers returning to the office is on the rise, and the time it takes to commute is growing. Many employers now require workers to show up at the office at least 3 days a week. The number of remote workers is still 3 times higher than before the pandemic.
St. Louis County Police say there's a new scam involving warrants and MoneyGrams.
Police say a county resident received an arrest warrant via text. It said the person had missed jury duty and they were told to go to Walmart and get a $4,000 MoneyGram. The text ordered them to send the money through a scan code or face arrest. On a social media post, St. Louis County Police say they never issue arrest warrants via text, and they never ask anyone to purchase a MoneyGram. They are asking people to spread the word about this latest scam. Scott Jagal, KMOX News.
You weren't imagining things if you thought you saw hot air balloons yesterday.
We have pilots arriving in St. Louis from all across the country, and they're anxious to get up in the air. They love coming to St. Louis, and this weather, you just can't beat it.
That's Jessica Stegan with the Great Forest Park Balloon Race. She says some pilots went up yesterday, others will go up today. But of course, the real festivities kick off in Forest Park tomorrow for the Balloon Glow, and then Saturday afternoon for the 51st Balloon Race. And in sports, baseball's first team to clinch a division title has owned the National League East.
A dominant stretch continues for the Atlanta Braves.
Struck him out! The Braves are the kings of the East yet again! 6 straight division crowns for Atlanta.
Clinching the NL East Division on Bally Sports with a win over the rival Phillies in Philadelphia. At 96-50, they have the best record in baseball and will head into the playoffs with a solid chance to win the World Series, powered by MVP candidate Ronald Acuna Jr. Steve Kathan, CBS News.
Down from Steeples, up 269 points to 34,844. We've got slow-moving roadwork on 55 going south at 270 north. The right lane is closed. And also 44 west at the MLK Bridge. The right lane there is closed.
KMOX AccuWeather, sunny, pleasant this afternoon. The high getting up to 81. A jacket-worthy night as we drop down into the 40s in some outlying areas. Low to mid-50s in the city. Back up to near 80 tomorrow on Saturday and Sunday, too. And it warms up as we get into Monday and Tuesday. Back into the mid-upper 80s. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Dean DeVore, the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Sponsored by the Penn Mutual Life Insurance Company. Are you considering life insurance? Penn Mutual's accelerated client experience makes applying for life insurance fast and easy. Ask your independent advisor or go to pennmutual.com/STL. Right now, we've got sun and 72 in Florissant, 71 St. Peter's, 72 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
It's Chris and Amy on KMOX, hour 2 of the show. We will talk to John Rooney about the Cardinals, who are a game away from elimination, official elimination. We know this is not going to be a playoff season for them, but we'll talk to John. We will also have a couple of members of the U.S. Army Golden Knights parachute team.
I'm so excited.
They'll be in studio next hour.
How often do they change those guys out? Like, are you going to recognize some of the Golden Knights from
potentially
last year?
Potentially. I don't know.
I don't know what the rotation is. You know how the Blue Angels, you're there for a few years.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a couple of different teams, and there are a lot of members of the teams, and it's very cool. But joining us in studio now is reporter from the newsroom, Sean Malone, who is, by the way, new to the station, new-ish, been here for a few weeks now.
A month officially today.
Is it a month?
A month today. Sean doesn't know what's about to hit him.
No.
That's the wrong word to use, to be honest with you, for this segment, because we were talking about Sean did a piece on fights that are happening in area high schools, one in particular, and it's led to some issues.
Not even just one in particular, because it's been a couple of incidents in some schools where it's happening in the hallways, fights, plural, that are breaking out in a single day. And in some instances, it's been fights breaking out off the field, not necessarily the fights on the field that were the focus of this piece.
During football games.
Yes, during Friday night or, be it Saturday football games where it's leading to games being called early. There was a St. Mary Southside game that not even a full minute of game time into the fourth quarter in a one-score game, they just had to postpone the game because a huge brawl was breaking out.
It's unbelievable. I'm looking now at the story from Riverview Gardens High School and how there were fights on school grounds resulted in more than 24 students arrested. Homecoming activities were canceled, and now they have remote learning, at least for a little while, until they're able to get a handle on things. I don't know where to begin. It's frustrating. It's upsetting for kids who are being serious about their school and want to move forward in academics. They can't because of these disruptions. Do you know anything about the arrests or the kids or what schools like what Riverview Gardens is going to do moving forward.
So the angle I was going with is statewide, if any sort of regulations are going to be made, because some schools have begun taking their own steps to try to ensure safety, whether it's, restricting attendance at the games to only family members, or whether or not you, as an athlete, have to submit a list of who's going to be attending the game to watch you play and limiting it to 8 people. St. Mary Southside did that. And I tried to take the angle of, is it going to get to the point where MSHSAA, the Missouri side state body that oversees everything athletically, was going to start putting in mandates themselves instead of just letting the individual schools do it? Some of the other ones that we've seen that they could probably start mandating, especially in the playoffs when they gain a lot more control of the games, when they're taking tickets and things like that, charging admission, whether it's like we see at Major League and college sports now, where there's a clear bag policy. You can't bring backpacks into a game. It's only clear bags that are allowed, things like that. But MSHSAA right now is kind of keeping it where they're commending the schools for taking these steps, but still leaving it in their hands where it's up to them to decide, okay, things have gotten to the point where we need to do this individually as a school. MSHSAA's not going to be instituting these on a statewide basis just because a couple of schools in the St. Louis area are having these problems.
How bad is it at the moment? I mean, I remember being in high school and there being fights all the time. In the hallway, there'd be a fight. Occasionally, you'd see one at a sporting event, but not very often. Is it out of hand, or has this always been going on? We're just finding out about them.
I feel like this has been going on for some time, but not as consistent as we're seeing happening at this level. Thankfully, it's not gotten to the point like we saw in Oklahoma just a few weeks ago, where there was a shooting. Yep. There was a similar incident at the St. Mary's game recently where after the brawl broke out in the stands, they moved everyone off the fields, and then a shot was fired by a teenager not affiliated with St. Mary's, it was reported, on an off-field site, like a block away from the stadium at a gas station, and that led to more panic at that point. But thankfully, nothing is involved in any deaths or anyone seriously hurt, as far as I could find. But I think it's slowly becoming a growing problem beyond just sports in general. You look at what's happening at concerts and things like that, and it's that post-pandemic, no one still really knows how to act in public anymore that we've kind of been seeing over the past few years at this point, really, whether it's concerts, people throwing things at the performers on stage, that type of nature that, it's people just don't seem to remember how to conduct themselves in public.
We've been saying that, and a lot of people have been saying, well, we just don't know how to act because we were locked up. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
come on. You know how to act. You know not to throw things at people at concerts, which also, by the way, is not a new thing. That's been going on for a long time. I've never understood that idea. Like a half full water bottle.
Yeah.
I've seen it, but back in the 90s, I've seen it.
And that's ridiculous, and it's untenable. People should be kicked out, banned for life from those events. I think when we're looking at the schools too, it's a separate issue, especially when you're talking about kids, especially when you're talking about ongoing issues with violence or drug use. That's going to bleed into football games, homecoming. That's why those events are being canceled. And, when you look at some of the problem areas, like Riverview Gardens having this issue. Back in March, I don't know if you remember us talking about McClure High School, how a bunch of teachers went on strike or just didn't show up, called in sick because they didn't feel safe. They said there's so much violence in the hallways. Their students are throwing things at them. Students are threatening them. And the McClure High School system as well. These are struggling school districts. These are underserved areas where poverty is high. And so it's a big issue when you're looking at, okay, if we're seeing these violent behaviors concentrated in schools that we know are having together, KSDK looked at this story as well and interviewed a couple people from the Ungun Institute. And one of the guys that they interviewed, Lorenzo Davis, he was a 2009 Riverview graduate. And he's like, we've got to come together as a community. He said a lot of the problem makers, he was, I know, I was one of them, like young men. They've got issues. They're feeling alone. They're hurting because there's trouble in their lives. How do we come together And I think that's what a big part of this is with these high schools, at least for some of the fights, have got to be, how does a community, how do families get more involved?
And I think to that point, getting the community involved with the punishment is sort of kind of forcing the hand in that, because, you get two people get into a fight, they both get suspended. That really only affects the two individuals that were in the fight then. But now it's sad that, the other athletes that didn't do anything wrong, just because a bunch of the fans in the stands getting too rambunctious and a fight breaking out, postponing their game. But now that it's affecting them, maybe the thought of, okay, this is now hurting beyond just the scope of those individual people, maybe that will start to kind of get people a sense of, okay, let's start acting a little bit better. The fights that we're having in the hallways here over whatever stupid stuff it might be, now it's going to have a bigger impact than just those two individual people. Maybe that will get that community mindset going of how can we as a whole try to prevent this from happening?
So since you said the state's really not going to implement anything new here, what happens next?
It's up to the individual schools at this point. Like I laid out earlier, some of the schools are taking steps where clear bag policy, you can't bring a backpack or anything like that. Some schools are regulating who can come to the game when they're not affiliated with the school. You need an adult. If you're going to be a student at another school that's not affiliated with the two teams playing, you need an adult to sign you into games. Even outside of, fights and issues and things like that, I've seen schools in more rural areas institute a policy like that. North County High School in Bonne Terre, after their first game of the season, put out a statement saying that anyone 8th grade and younger needs an adult 21 and over to come to the game with them. Now, obviously, kids are going to be kids. You're going to let the kids go running around and, play tackle football off to the side or whatever. It's not like you need to keep an eye on them at all times. But I thought it was interesting that they instituted a policy like that as well. But I think we'll start to see more policies like that. Not anything organized on a statewide scale, but school to school, kind of look at the environment on Friday Night Football and think, okay, how can we kind of rein this in a little bit where it's not going to be a powder keg to potentially get out of hand. If there's going to be little kids running around, there's going to be adults that are at least responsible for them that are there. If you're not affiliated with the school, there's someone else that's there to kind of oversee you as well. The clear bag policy, to hopefully prevent the situation that we saw in Oklahoma, that I think would, is a step that some schools are taking to try to prevent that.
Well, I would say that thankfully nothing serious has happened yet. When I see this stuff, that there are fights, my first thought is, well, with the way things are now, at least it wasn't a shooting. That's where my head goes. So we appreciate the reporting on it. Keep us posted if anything changes, and we know you will.
Yep. Sounds good. Thanks,
that is
guys.
Sean Malone.
Sean
from the
Malone.
He is new.
He's our debut on the Chris and Amy show.
Wasn't that bad, was it?
No, it wasn't nearly as painful as you guys made it out to be.
We didn't.
Well.
The entire newsroom told you it was going to be bad.
Oh, they were all talking me down off the ledge. They're like, listen, just like go somewhere, breaking news, something, get on out of here.
Yeah, they said, go have fun in there. But keep in mind that because of the people in that room, Rob Hyland is rolling in his grave.
Well, and also, I always like to say I'm important adjacent, meaning I'm a clown. This is a circus. But when we walk through the newsroom, it's like you see the importance of real reporters and real journalists. I'm not that. I'm an opinion giver. I sit here, no. But the newsroom, that's where the important stuff goes on. And what happens is I come out of the studio pretty loud and talking and laughing, and my voice carries. And I think I've ruined an interview or two. So, Sean, you have permission to just tell me to keep it down.
Is that a one-time permission? Like I gotta
just know it's
punch a card, or
anytime you want.
Anytime you want. Because I'm like, oh.
She's the worst.
I'm kind of loud.
So loud. KMOX reporter Sean Malone. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
All right, we've got something to tell you about. Actually, it was yesterday that this happened, and we have one thing that I missed yesterday, and I'm so upset, but I'm also very glad that I finally saw it, and another bit of news from the Pennsylvania murderer who was caught yesterday. This is good stuff. We'll tell you about it when we come back on KMOX.
We go where you go. 1120 AM, 98.7 FM, KMOX.com.
Fall is here. Baseball, beautiful weather, and the changing colors of trees and shrubs. When you think of your trees, call family-owned Gamma Tree Experts. Fall is a great time to prune and fertilize your valuable trees. Our staff of certified arborists will survey your trees to determine their needs. Knowledge and quality are hallmarks of our reputation. Call Gamma Tree Experts at 314-725-6159 or visit us at gammatree.com. Your trees deserve the best care.
It's football season at Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas, featuring the best pool in history. Stadium Square, 3 levels, 6 pools, and a 143-foot diagonal screen. Stadium Swim is America's favorite place to watch football.
Touchdown! Unbelievable!
Stadium Swim, located at Circa Resort and Casino. Book today at CircaLasVegas.com. That's CircaLasVegas.com.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing. Together, millions of things for our planet. Use your vehicle less in September. Walk or bike to close destinations and enjoy more time outdoors. When we each share a one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Carol Daniel for Chesterfield Fence and Deck. We knew we needed a bronze aluminum fence. Let me correct that. We wanted bronze, but we knew we needed an aluminum fence because that's what our HOA required. Plus, we have a swimming pool, so we wanted to enclose it. Enter Chesterfield Fence and Deck. From the free in-home estimate to the excellent customer service to the trained craftsmen, our experience was incredible, and yours will be too. They can build you a new deck or remodel the one you have. They can build a sunroom or a gorgeous pergola. They know there are many reasons for your projects. You may want to transform your backyard. You have grandkids you want to come over. You want a wooden fence for privacy. Call Chesterfield Fence and Deck. 636-532-4054. That's 636-532-4054. Mention my name, Carol Daniel, in the month of September, and guess what? You get 20% off your next outdoor project. You will also get a free in-home estimate and project design. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best.
According to the U.S. debt clock, in the time you hear this commercial, our nation's debt will go up by $1.5 million. That's more than $2 billion a day. Right now, our debt is over $31 trillion and climbing fast. The question is, how do we pay it off? The answer is increasing taxes. Now think about your retirement accounts. Do you want to pay taxes on some of that money now when rates are historically low, or later when rates are potentially higher? Whether you should pay taxes now or in retirement depends on a lot of things. Heisey Advisory Group knows what to look for and can help you create a customized plan so your retirement is as tax efficient as possible. Schedule your visit with Heisey Advisory Group now. 314-328-4400. That's 314-328-4400.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors LLC, and SEC registered investment advisors. Security products and services made available through AE Financial Services LLC, member FINRA and SIPC. AEFS and Pine Ridge Advisors LLC are not affiliated. Always consult an attorney or tax professional regarding your specific legal or tax situation.
Hi, my name is Dan Packard. I was on my way to work, and the gentleman behind me hit me. We called Morgan & Morgan. From that moment on, everything else Morgan & Morgan took care of. They emailed us all the time. They constantly stayed in touch with us.
We have been really blessed to have them in our corner. And it really did feel like family.
Morgan & Morgan did it all with literally one phone call.
Last year, more clients hired Morgan & Morgan than ever before. With over 2 million phone calls last year alone, more people in more cities across America want more Morgan & Morgan. When you hire Morgan & Morgan, you're also hiring a family business. And after 35 years, we now have more offices, more staff, and more lawyers than any other injury firm in the world. Protecting America, fighting for you. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Local news and information direct to your smart speaker. Just say, play KMOX.
A Jedi uses the Force for knowledge and defense, never for attack.
Amy, we have a new hero, a new American hero. Did you hear about it?
I mean, this is moving. This score. I did hear about him, and I love him, and this music brings me to tears.
Danilo Cavalcante, he's not the hero.
Oh gosh,
he was the escaped
that's
murderer
the bad guy
that they apprehended in Pennsylvania yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
The dog who bit him, the police dog who bit him, was named Yoda.
Oh my gosh.
Did you know that?
No, because we wanted to make sure that the police dog who bit this guy and helped apprehend him was recognized for his great service.
And apparently he was asked, or the state police in Pennsylvania were asked what was the name of the dog who caught the guy because he was sleeping in the woods on top of a rifle.
/ lying down.
Yeah,
they don't know if he was sleeping
he was
or
sleeping.
lying down.
He was sleeping. They startled him.
Okay, because as of yesterday, they didn't know if he was sleeping or
he was out. He was sleeping, and he woke up like, oh, the dog's biting him.
Yeah.
And the dog, there's a photo of the dog just laying on his legs. And there are obviously police around him. We did talk about this during the show yesterday or during the Dave Glover show, and I had not seen it, but it's not a selfie, but there are like 15 to 20 of the law enforcement officers all in military fatigues after they caught him, and they're walking this guy through and they take a photo with him. I was like, what are you guys doing? Just seemed like a really weird thing. But there was a press conference yesterday, and there was this amazing moment in the press conference that I totally missed. I can't believe this happened, and I didn't know about it, but some guy who I believe is a comedian, and he goes by the name Mike Rainey, was in the press conference and asked this question.
Sir, is there any concern that he would team up with another small man to step inside of a trench coat, Little Rascal style?
No. Let me, in case you couldn't hear what he said, what the person asked was there any concern that he would
team up
with another small man and step inside the trench coat, Little Rascal style?
You should play it again.
This is... Here you go.
Sir, is there any concern that he would team up with another small man to step inside of a trench coat, Little Rascal style? No.
No. I did watch the video several times. There were multiple law enforcement officers in the picture, in the shot, and none of them smiled.
One guy looked over at him like, what the hell was that?
Is there any concern that he would team up with another small man to step inside of a trench coat, Little Rascal style? No.
They moved on to the next question.
He would look like a taller man. They'd throw him off the trail that way.
Mike Rainey says he was politely escorted out after he did that. I'm sorry. That's funny.
That's pretty funny.
I know it's a serious news story, but nobody got hurt. There were a lot of law enforcement officers' man hours that were taken up and resources and all that over the course of 2 weeks.
Okay.
But that is hysterical. That's really
it's
funny.
hysterical, but also it means that you can't get mad at me for loving art crime. Because with this guy,
I'm not mad at you
These
over
were,
it.
I mean, this was a lot of man hours, right? Law enforcement resources were all funneled away from other very important jobs to
in
find
rural
this
Pennsylvania.
guy. Yeah. The Amish, you don't know what the Amish are up to.
I do. They're making butter.
Well, that's what they want you to think. But with art crime, they don't even use real police. They use art detectives. Art sleuths, as they call them.
Okay, but what I'm saying
art
is...
sleuths aren't being taken away from important homicide cases to find a Picasso.
I called you a hypocrite.
Yeah.
Because you love art thievery.
Well...
You think it's great. And I said, well, if you love that, then you also have to love environmental activists who glue themselves to art.
I'm not going to rehash this because it's so very obviously clear why there's a difference between environmental activists who throw tomato soup on a painting and an art thief who understands the value and rarity of this painting, keeps it in pristine condition, even in the midst of a crime. I think art crime is fancy. I think it's kind of classy. I think everybody has fitting outfits, like cat burglars are the thieves, and then the art sleuths. They're called sleuths. Who else do you say he's a sleuth, a homicide sleuth? Nobody says that.
Inspector Gadget, I think.
Right.
But here's what I'm saying about the art thievery. Effectively, it is the same thing if a painting is destroyed or if it is taken away off the wall and it is hidden somewhere where you can never see it again.
Because it can't come. No, it comes back.
No,
art
it doesn't.
crime is always solved.
It is not
This
always
painting, art crime is always solved.
Is there any concern that he would team up with another small man to step inside the trench coat, Little Rascal style?
No.
Step inside the trench coat, Little Rascals. That's so good. That is so good.
I wonder what's the thought process as a comedian going, I'm going to go to this very real press conference about
What
a
do you mean?
very evil murderer and ask this question.
Here's the thought process. That and then go, that's going to be fun. That's going to be so good. I can't believe I missed that. That's the best part of the whole story. Well, that and Yoda is the name of the dog who caught him.
Mhm.
Great job, everyone.
Nice work.
Great job. John Rooney will talk Cardinals baseball with us next. I'm sure of it on KMOX.
Hey guys, this is Dave from the Dave Glover Show, 1 to 5 p.m. on KMOX. So you can't do a talk show without talking about politics now and then. I consider myself to be a down-the-middle, independent, free-thinking guy. I am capable of my mind being changed. Hopefully I'm capable of at least challenging you. With 5 people on the show, you're going to find someone who you align with. It's honest, it's real, it's challenging, and it's fun. That's 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. every day on KMOX.
Hey, it's Matzo Matt here for Brewpub Lots and Matzo Pizza. You know, the other day I was talking to my teenage son while enjoying a slice.
Yo, Dad, it's been a minute since I had a Brewpub pizza.
Well, son, actually, it's been about a 15 to 17-minute cook time or until the cheese is a golden brown.
Nah, that's totally sus.
Oh, yeah, the sauce, bold flavor, generously portioned, so good.
Absolutely drippy.
When you have over half a pound of award-winning Wisconsin mozzarella cheese on each pizza, of course it's gonna drip.
Bet.
You don't believe me?
Hey, no cap.
Have as many slices as you want. No matter how you say it, Brewpub pizzas are the best.
When it's time to shop for your next pair of shoes, consider New Balance St. Louis. We have the largest selection of styles and sizes to help you find the perfect fit. See for yourself why New Balance is the most referred athletic brand by medical professionals. Our fit pros are extremely knowledgeable and take the time to understand your specific goals and activities. Customer service and selection makes all the difference when selecting a shoe store. Visit us in Creve Coeur, Richmond Heights, and Fairview Heights. New Balance St. Louis. Nationally known, locally owned.
Innovation Refunds does not provide tax or legal advice. We work with an independent network of tax professionals and will share information with them to evaluate and process your claims. Terms and conditions apply. Ty is a paid spokesman.
I'm Ty Burrell, actor and small business owner. You can trust Innovation Refunds with your small business's ERC claim because of their SOC 2 Type 1 security compliance. And if you're a tech person, you know that's a big deal. I'm not a tech person, but I did look it up. Without this certification, how can you be sure a company can protect your information? It's not like here on the radio, where all you need to be secure is a sensor button. Check it out. So now you won't know my date of birth is or that my social security number is. The password to my bank account is Ty's Cool Password 1. Uh-oh, the button's broken. Luckily, Innovation Refunds is more reliable. Don't wait. Go to innovationrefunds.com. That's innovationrefunds.com or call 1-843-REFUNDS to get started. Oh, a notification from my bank. Wait, I didn't buy a boat.
At 11:30, sun and 73 degrees downtown at the Arch. A Georgia judge says former President Trump and 16 others will be tried separately from 2 other defendants in the state election case. That means lawyers Sidney Powell and Kenneth Chesebro will go on trial next month. Attorney Joseph Tully.
2 people that have said, look, we're not waiving speedy trial. We want to go to trial right away. Everybody else is saying we need time to look at over all the evidence. We need time to adequately prepare. So the judge is cutting basically 2 of the accused loose, and they will be tried together.
A federal judge declared the latest version of the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, or DACA, illegal, but the judge stopped short of completely terminating the program. Correspondent Natalie Brand.
Hundreds of thousands of dreamers, undocumented immigrants who were brought to this country as children, suffered a legal setback Wednesday. A federal judge in Texas declared the latest version of the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, or DACA, unlawful. But the judge stopped short of a complete termination of the program, allowing current DACA beneficiaries to be able to continue to renew their work permits and be protected from deportation while closing the program to new applicants.
Missouri's Attorney General is suing Dollar General after customers claimed they were being deceived by prices. The lawsuit says the average overcharge nearly $3 in some cases, the highest discrepancy $6.50. The case investigated with the Missouri Department of Agriculture. We've got 370 westbound at Newtown, there is a tractor trailer overturned, and we have had a report of a vehicle fire in that area. Looks like from the cameras that the fire is out. Still a lot of smoke and emergency vehicles. 370 west at Newtown. Some congestion 55 north before Route Z. MoDOT says slow down as you approach that. And some slow-moving road work on 270 south to 55 south. The left lane is closed. This afternoon's high 81. A jacket tonight, low 55. Plenty of sunshine tomorrow with the high of 81. At the moment, sunny and 73 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Men suffering from ED or PE, you'll see instant results on your first visit at Paramount Men's Medical Center. For a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free. You'll even get a gift that enhances your performance in the bedroom. Call now, 314-720-8081.
Broadcasting from the Underline Tree Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX. Experience the thrill of St. Louis Blues hockey live at Enterprise Center with a mini plan. Plans start at just 6 games and include many of your favorite matchups, giveaway nights, and more. If you're looking to get closer to the action, select plans are now available on the Plaza level. All purchasers get the same seat at every game, a discount off the gate price, and select plans include a flexible payment plan option and a merchandise discount in STL Authentics. Get your Blues mini plan now at stlouisblues.com/tickets.
When choosing a skilled nursing memory care community, considered by U.S. News and World Reports as a best memory care community, choose Park Provence, where expert care is not cost prohibitive because they understand the challenges of today. For nearly 20 years, Park Provence has been the experts at treating dementia and Alzheimer's disease. If you're faced with making a difficult decision for your loved one, call today at 314-542-2500 or visit parkprovence.com. That's PARC Provence.com.
Start your Amazon business.
Hi, Ian Bauer. My first year averaged $45,000 a month in sales. Now I'm at $90,000 a month and hardly working.
In 2020, Americans made $50 billion selling on Amazon. Join America's Amazon expert, Dylan Frost, where anyone can learn how to start an Amazon business for only $49.99 guaranteed or your money back. Attend the Wholesale Formula 2-hour seminar Saturday, September 30th, 11 a.m. at the Aviator Hotel, Lindbergh Boulevard, St. Louis, Missouri. Register at thewholesaleformula.com.
What defines us is who we are as a collective group and how we progress and gain momentum through the season.
The Coach's Corner with St. Louis City Coach Bradley Carnell. Mondays at 9:35 on America's Sports Voice, KMOX. Now, the John Rooney Conversation on KMOX. Sponsored by Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. And if you're a Missourian, we're for you.
Richie Palacios bounced out his first time. And the first pitch to him is hit high and deep to right field. Did he do it again? Yes, he did. Home run, big fly, Palacios. And the Cardinals get on the board first. And Palacios has homered 3 times in this series, and it's 1-0 St. Louis.
That's all the Birds would need. 1 run. They beat the Baltimore Orioles on the road, and that took care of a 91-win team. The Orioles have already won 90-plus games, and we are halfway through the month of September. It is time to visit with our guy, John Rooney, here on KMOX. He is the radio voice of the team, and you can hear him when the Cardinals are back at it, and that will be tomorrow night, and it will happen at Busch Stadium for one of the last homestands of the season. John, what's happening?
Well, back at it, and that's all it took last night, that home run. And I think Baltimore is beginning to feel the pressure of September and the pennant run. They're a good team, Chris, really good. The best record in the American League right now, but they're only 2 games ahead of Tampa Bay. And I'll be interested to watch that series that begins tonight in Baltimore between those two. So they play 4, and it could be Tampa Bay in first place when it's all said and done. As the Rays have more experience at this kind of thing than the Orioles do.
Only the Braves have a better record in baseball here than what the Baltimore Orioles have. And like you said, they're a good team, but they're young too. So this appears to be, if Baltimore does it right, it appears to be a team that is entering the fray and should be around for a while.
I would think so. And Means will really help them coming back from his surgery. And I thought he pitched well the other night. He gave up the 2 home runs to Goldie and to Palacios. And then Palacios hit one off their pen that helped in the margin of victory for Adam Wainwright. But they do look like a really good lineup. They look like a pretty good bullpen. And they just need to get their starting lined out. Things haven't quite worked out that well for Flaherty there so far. But I thought it was interesting that one of the pieces of the Flaherty trade, Drew Rom, picked up his first major league win. So we went from Adam Wainwright's 199th win on Tuesday to Drew Rom's first win in the big leagues last night.
Yeah, there you go. He gets into the 6th inning. He has 7 strikeouts in the game last night in Baltimore. Good bullpen work also throughout the night. They did not give up anything. Obviously, the Cardinals didn't give up anything top to bottom. But Rom, in terms of the pitching staff for 2024, look, very little work we've seen of his. Don't know if he's going to factor into the plans next year. What would he have to do in his next start or two in order to earn a spot? Or can he even earn a spot just by
I think he can earn some credibility as depth for a starting spot. Remember, he's only 23 years old, and he hides the ball really well, and he had very good command of his fastball, and he had very, very good placement where he was getting lots of swing and misses. And if he continues to do that, then who knows? He might find a spot in the rotation as a number 5 guy. But we'll have to see how that will play out. But depth is a key factor for next year. To have the kind of depth you need, I haven't counted them up, Chris, but it wouldn't surprise me if we've gone through about 780 or 800 pitchers in baseball this year.
Yeah.
You need a bunch to get through an entire season, especially the way you look at a lineup. Well, you can't go through the lineup the third time around. That means you have a lot of wear and tear on the bullpen, and you need some arms that can give you 2, 3, 4 innings out of the bullpen from time to time. Who knows? He might be one of those guys. But right now, he's just trying to get his feet on the ground at the big league level, show them what he's done at the minor league level to see if it plays up here. And it really played last night against a good lineup.
And he is left-handed, just like Zach Thompson is. So right now, the Cardinals have a couple of different lefties they can go to. There's a lot of value in a left-handed pitcher, especially if he is a starter. How much do you think the Cardinals care about handedness, though, when they put together a staff for next year?
I think it counts as far as quality of the pitcher, who it is, what you can get, and what you can do with that. Having a situation where yeah, my dog wants to weigh in on that one too, if she can.
Well, what does she think?
But having a left-hander like Liberatore in the bullpen, though, what they're doing with him and getting Key out in 1 inning and then pitching another inning, that has proved to be very, very successful through the first 3 times they've done that. And he has a win in one of those instances, and then helped greatly in the 199th career win for Adam Wainwright on Tuesday. I think it just depends on the quality of the pitcher, who it is, what they can bring in. That's kind of the way they looked at it with Mark Mulder when they got him back in the day. And it's just a shame that he got hurt the way he did in 2006, and he couldn't pitch the way he did in Oakland.
John, speaking of Adam Wainwright, as his career comes to a close, he's sitting at 199. You're looking at what will his next and final start be like, the final homestand, his final time in Busch Stadium. What are your thoughts as this career comes to a close?
Well, he's had a terrific career. And the guy, to me, has been the master of improv. And congratulations to Adam, as he's one of the inductees coming up in the November Missouri Sports Hall of Fame induction at Chase Park Plaza. We learned that yesterday. And he's going to have many, many more honors and things coming his way as we go along. But the people he's helped with his foundation, just what he's done with teammates and helping younger players develop into big league pitchers and players, you can't discount that either. And on the field, he was the stopper for many, many years. When the Cardinals lost 2 or 3 in a row, you get the Adam Wainwright start, and the guys driving to the ballpark had to feel that, yeah, we're winning tonight because Adam's out there. And that's what he's brought to the table. Well, he's still the master of improv. He'll come up with something completely out of nowhere to try to get an out. And the way he's changing arm angles right now, and the way he's spotting his cutter, his fastball, and throwing his curveball, he's giving himself a very legitimate chance to get to 200 and maybe 201, 202 before it's over.
Yeah, and again, I asked this question, or we talked about this yesterday, about the possibility of him reaching 200, or if I think he's going to start the final series of the season. Correct? That Friday.
I think he has a start, and the Friday. I haven't
Yeah.
played it out, but I think there is a start for him in that series.
I think it's the
as I
Friday.
understand it.
Yeah, I think it's Friday, September 29th. It's the last series at home for the Cardinals. They take on the Reds, and that whole weekend is going to be Waino weekend at the ballpark. He's going to play Saturday night on the field. I think it's 3 songs, which Megan, announced here on the show yesterday. So that's a whole Wainwright weekend that's happening the 29th and then into October.
And that it is, and that'll be a fitting farewell for his playing career. But I sure hope that he becomes like Ozzie Smith and like Gibby was, and Stan and Red and those, that he's a real Cardinal ambassador for a long time, because he has been while he's been playing, and what he's done, and he has been one of the top faces of the organization ever since he struck out Carlos Beltran to put the Cardinals in the World Series back in '06. He's just built on that career, and you just wonder how many more wins he'd have if he didn't have the surgeries and all the time on the injured list, where he's won 19 a couple of years, won 20 a couple of years. Certainly should have had a Cy Young Award somewhere along there, but he has been a mainstay in St. Louis, and he's one of the giants in Cardinal history.
Yeah, and despite the difficulty he's had this season in being effective as a pitcher, I mean, the guy's been around for so long and such an important part of Cardinals history. This question was asked of us, a few weeks ago. Is this going to taint his legacy? And that it rarely ever does, John, for any player who plays to the end and maybe plays a year longer or 2 years longer than people think they should have played. Nobody ever remembers the end. They always remember the good stuff.
Yeah, remember the body of work. And that's kind of the way I look at it. This doesn't taint his career in my mind at all.
Right.
It's been a struggle to try to go out there and pitch effectively, and to not have those weapons at his disposal that he's had in the past. I'm sure that eats away at him, but he is so smart, Chris. He goes out there and changes arm angles and does something with his grip on the ball and tries to find some way to get a batter out. That's pitching. And he has been one terrific pitcher, and he was the other night, too. And he's had some games where if he had a little more run support, he'd be past 200 by now this season.
Yeah, we were talking last year, I think it was, we spoke to him, and he told us that it was the 2018 season, I believe, where he thought, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And then to be able to even be effective like he was, just a
he won 12 games last year.
Yeah, that's a remarkable thing too, because we're talking about 5 years ago. There was a time 5 years ago he thought he was finished. And this year hasn't been great, but he clearly rebounded from that. That's remarkable.
He's had moments. Yeah, it is. It is remarkable. And he's had some moments he wants to forget. Some of those games where, 6, 7, 8 earned runs, they happened. He just couldn't find the pitches to get around those. But he was able to make the pitches the other night, and the strikeout that he was able to get on Adam Frazier, a guy who has been so tough on Cardinal pitching going back to his days with the Pirates, and the emotion that Adam had when he got him. And I just thought the team played off of that. The team then responded with the bullpen, playing great defense. They were not going to let Adam Wainwright lose that game. And that's what I like about this club right now. I see the energy and enthusiasm. I see team building going on right now in the clubhouse. And boy, if they can carry that into next spring training and get going with a good start in late March, early April next year, that's going to be important to getting back on track and playing the baseball that they're used to playing and that we're used to seeing when we go to Busch Stadium.
Yeah, and just kind of going back to Adam Wainwright's career and remembering his highest moments, I imagine you've seen this in your career, John, that when you're talking about elite athletes and these profound competitors, the body has to probably go before the mind does, before the spirit does. So you have athletes who are pushing themselves to the limit, and they squeeze every last ounce of talent, skill, energy that they have. And so to have a little bit of a dip at the end of your career is almost expected when you are that competitive.
And what was amazing about Albert Pujols last year, from the All-Star break on, he practically carried the club, and he certainly was spearheading the offense, and the others played off of that. And then we got some pitching help at the trade deadline when they were able to add Stratton and Quintana and Montgomery last year. And that's what they needed to get them over the finish line for the division. But what Albert did, and the way he was energized by his time at the All-Star game, and I think he was at the ESPYs the next night, and then joined the team in St. Louis to fly to Cincinnati the day after that. He seemed to be energized to the point that he put on a push in a second half like few have seen. It was an MVP type of push that he had last year. And Adam Wainwright is trying to do that where he can have that kind of finish to his career with these remaining starts. And the way he was able to maneuver around a very good hitting lineup. I mean, this is a Baltimore team that scored a bunch of runs in losing just one game at Fenway Park last weekend and winning a 13-12 game, I think they had in the Saturday game. Adam was able to get through that lineup to the point where the bullpen took over, and that bullpen would not bend. It didn't, and it didn't bend last night either for Drew Rom. I just see some good things happening, and that's playing off of what Adam did, what the members of the bullpen were able to do, what Palacios has been able to do to fill in. I mean, took another blow with Gorman having to go out with a hamstring issue. He was starting to get his timing back and was really seeing the ball well at the plate, taking some walks, playing a really good second base. And then Contreras has been hit on that right hand so many times. I'm surprised he didn't need a few days long before yesterday, today, leading into the series opener with Philly tomorrow. But have Palacios play second base the way he did last night and the others fill in. That was an infield that had Fermin at third, Wynn at short, Palacios at second, and Burleson at first. That's not a lot of experience out there. And a team that played good enough defense to support the pitching staff and beat the best team in the American League, you build off things like that.
John Rooney, enjoy the rest of the off day. Back at it tomorrow night.
And I'll enjoy tomorrow. I'll be back on Sunday. I'm off tomorrow and Saturday.
Look at
so Claibs and Ricky, they'll be on, and I'll be back Sunday, and then through the rest of the season.
All right, Amy and I will stop by the house then, since you're off.
Okay, yeah, come on over. We'll put some brats on, catch the games.
Oh,
I'll be following them. I can guarantee you that.
What a great weekend.
We'll find you.
All right. Have a great weekend, and if I don't sleep through next Wednesday, I'll talk to you next Thursday.
Hey, we could all use an 11:30 nap, John.
I thought I'd get a nap in yesterday because I didn't get to sleep till 2:30 coming back, and I figured, hey, that'll be my wake up call. But I still had the phone on silent, so I got an extra hour of sleep out of it, and I'm glad I did because of the late night.
Well, I'm glad you feel better. We were worried about you.
I do.
We sat in silence.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
We sat in silence for about 15 minutes.
Yep.
Well, that happens.
Thanks, John.
Sometimes some things are better left unsaid. I'm telling you, so better to have that dead air. Right. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks,
John Rooney, radio voice of the Cardinals. He's back Sunday, but we will have you covered. Ricky and Claibs will have you covered tomorrow night and Saturday. And guess what, Amy?
What, Ron?
It's the Phillies in town. That is a good baseball team as well. Get to see Bryce Harper. This Cardinals report brought to you by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated. RennerDoorSTL.com. There are plenty of tickets available. And guess what? We got tickets to give away today.
Wow.
Cardinals, Phillies tomorrow. We have tickets to give away today. Cardinals, Phillies. We'll do it soon on KMOX.
We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're here for all of life's wins. Like when you get a new car, or new boat, or new driver, or when your son moves out, but your mom moves in, or you find out you're expecting again, or when one rental property turns into 2, then 20, or you realize they're all in Tornado Alley. Life is full of life events, so call your Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance agent or visit MOFBinsurance.com to find an agent near you, and we'll make sure you have the right coverage for each of life's wins.
We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're for the people of Missouri, in good times and in bad. We're for Missouri families and Missouri communities. We're for giving back to those communities and lifting people up. And when Missouri weather rips through our state, we're for helping put back the pieces. We're for brighter days and new tomorrows. We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. And if you live in Missouri, we're for you.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
I'm Jim Onder. Not all law firms are created equal. Don't risk your future with just any firm. See how Onder Law is different.
Onder Law. Call 314 or 618-9000 to learn more.
Wednesday, September 20th. Come kick it with KMOX at St. Louis Union Station and celebrate the home game of St. Louis City SC. The pregame pep rally will take place at the Purina Performance Plaza, featuring live entertainment, soccer-themed games, Union Station attraction giveaways, and much more. Afterwards, get closer to the game and visit the pitch at STL Union Station as City SC takes on Los Angeles FC. The pep rally begins at 4 and the game starts at 7:30.
This cardboard order, is it up to date?
Camila's Recyclable Coffee Cup Factory can no longer be considered a grande.
Redesign? It's at the printer.
She needs more designers to jump the business to a triple shot.
Client wants to see several more design options. The logo's got to be bigger.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates, and you can schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from the Indeed dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Venture X from Capital One is the travel card for people always asking,
where next?
You earn 10x miles on hotels and rental cars, and 5x miles on flights booked through Capital One Travel, and 2x miles on everything else you buy with Venture X. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges. The Venture X card from Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Make the Goodwill choice. Donate to Goodwill and help put people to work right here in St. Louis. And help yourself to a Lion's Choice famous roast beef sandwich. Clean out those closets and cabinets. Take your donations to Goodwill during the month of September, and you'll get a coupon for an original Lion's Choice roast beef sandwich, courtesy of Lion's Choice. Give hope. Give local. Give Goodwill. It's the right choice for Lion's Choice. Hurry. Supplies are limited. Get details at mersgoodwill.org.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it.
100% on time, 100% guaranteed, 100% wow. 3-Day Kitchen and Bath delivers all that, all in 3 days. Here's how it works. Create a kitchen idea, give them 3 days, and suddenly your kitchen becomes the centerpiece of your home. A place where everyone gathers no matter how much room you have in the house. Every project is 100% on time, 100% guaranteed, and 100% wow. Invest in your family and your home. Invest in a kitchen with 3-Day Kitchen and Bath. 3-Day Kitchen offers a 100% satisfaction guarantee and will complete the job to your liking, guaranteed. They're in and out of your home in 3 days or less with top quality products and a great crew. And they're finished on time with no delays. Get details now. Start at 3daykitchenandbath.com. That's the number 3, then daykitchen.com. 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
Hi, this is Ken.
And Laurie Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
Join us Sundays at 9:30 a.m. for Your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Siding Express can totally transform the look of your home by installing Hardy Shake, board and batten, or a stone accent to make it your dream home. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardy contractor. Go to sidingexpress.com to schedule a free no-obligation consultation today.
You know that new sound you're looking for? Well, listen to this.
The Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Got a couple of U.S. Army Golden Knights coming into the studio next hour, Amy. It's going to be awesome.
Hey, I'm really looking forward to that. And also, I just got a text from a friend. He said, we just got back from a fishing trip in remote Canada.
Oh.
And he said early in the morning and late at night, we could listen to KMOX. He said it was mind-blowing.
On AM, or were they listening on the Odyssey app?
No, on AM. They just had radios. They were fishing.
Yeah, well, I think
They could get, I mean, of course, it's not a surprise. People say, well, of course, we know that. Well, I know, but it's still kind of cool. On a clear night, they say you can hear KMOX in Guam.
It's really cool how that technology, which is still extremely useful.
Yeah.
The AM signal is very useful, especially for natural disasters and stuff like that. But during the time where there was no internet, there was no streaming, to be a couple of states away and like, oh my God, I can hear KMOX.
Ricky Horton said his parents in New York listened to the Cardinals broadcast on KMOX.
That's Amy. I'm Chris. Final hour of the show, and there's a lot in it. Next on KMOX.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. If you or someone you love don't seem to be hearing that well anymore, make an appointment today with Dr. Colleen Bosler at one of her 3 St. Louis area Audiology Center locations: Creve Coeur, St. Peter's, and Florissant.
Have you ever felt like sitting back or giving up at a family gathering because you're tired of working so hard to hear? Have you ever avoided going to an event because you know you won't be able to hear well? At the Audiology Center, we like to take a look at each person's personal needs. We want to get them exactly what they need to hear their best in all environments. Whether it's the television, noisy restaurants, family gatherings, or even just at home one-on-one with your spouse. We encourage you to make an appointment today so we can show you everything.
Thanks, doctor. You can make that appointment today by calling 636-441-7470 or online, theaudiologycenterstl.com.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends at Zero Res Carpet Cleaning. So football season is back, which means having the buddies over and watching games and nachos and beer and just all the fun of fall. Make it nice for everybody. Call Zero Res at 314-474-2020 or ZeroResSTL.com. Get those carpets clean. Get your air ducts clean. Get your upholstery clean. Get the whole house clean for fall. Trust me, they're going to do a great job. So what is the deal? Every month, Zero Res offers the DGS listeners a good deal, a better deal, a deal you can't get if you don't mention me or the station. Here's what it is. 3 rooms, Zero Res clean for $129. Your air ducts, take $50 off of those. We do tile. We do upholstery. We can do area rugs. In fact, we can do anything you want. 314-474-2020, ZeroResSTL.com.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The legendary voice of St. Louis, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends at ThrottleNet. So I'm so very proud to have represented the guys at ThrottleNet for all of these years. They are the IT geniuses. George and Mike are the owners. Fantastic guys. They can do all of your IT. They can do a portion of your IT. They have the best Apple support team. Their response time is under 2 minutes. Think about that, under 2 minutes. Something goes sideways with your IT, and they are solving your problem. And they're solving your problem within 2 minutes. Now, let's talk about cybersecurity. Most companies in St. Louis don't have cyber liability insurance. You get hit, you're on the hook, you're probably out of business. With ThrottleNet, if we represent you, we protect you. The first $500,000 that someone hits you for, which isn't going to happen, but if it does, we pay it. $500,000. That's what you're covered for with ThrottleNet. Go to throttlenet.com/DGS for all the information.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 12 noon, we've got sun and 76 degrees downtown at the Arch. The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Our top story this hour, the head of Ford Motor Company, Jim Farley, is aggressively pushing back on the strike threat from the United Auto Workers. With a midnight deadline looming and no planned discussions, UAW is likely to selectively strike plants of the big 3 automakers. At the International Auto Show opening in Detroit Wednesday, Farley arguing his company has been generous in its offers.
We continue to make the most generous offer in the 80 years with the UAW, and we have more UAW workers than anyone in the country. Generous wage increases. We reinstated COLA. We got rid of all tiers. We increased the vacation time.
Thousands of UAW workers in Wentzville build pickup trucks and conversion vans for General Motors. Missouri voters will have to adjust to a new process for next year's presidential election.
Thanks to a recent law, the primaries are gone, replaced with caucus meetings. State Democratic Chairman Russ Carnahan says historically caucuses have extremely low turnout. So the party's adding a mail-in component and education
of how people can participate, why it's important. And again, it's better buy-in for people to feel like they've been part of the process.
The party's seeking approval for its plan from the Democratic National Committee, which meets in St. Louis next month. The state GOP has yet to finalize its plans for the 24 presidential election. Scott Jagow, KMOX News.
The weather should be picture perfect this weekend for the 51st annual Great Forest Park Balloon Race. There have been years where the winds were just too much. This weekend, there won't be much wind, but Jessica Stegan says it will be fine.
They can hang up there and float around for a little bit, even in light winds. And we've had years where they will launch as part of the race, and then the hair balloon actually lands in a different part of Forest Park. That's an interesting wrinkle in the race, too, where it can be a very short trip.
You may see some hot air balloons floating around today. More than 50 pilots from across the country are expected. The Balloon Glow is tomorrow night. The balloon race is Saturday afternoon. All of the events are free. In his first statement since his season-ending injury on Monday Night Football, New York Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers vows to return to the field. Sports reporter Erica Herskowitz.
Jets head coach Robert Saleh said he'd be surprised if Aaron Rodgers retired from football because of this injury. And then Rodgers confirmed that sentiment with his Instagram post, saying that he is moving through all the emotions of getting hurt, but that he would rise again. Of course, that hints that his career is not over yet.
The KMOX Business Desk, more on the consumer protection lawsuit filed against Dollar General, accusing the discounter of displaying one price on the shelf but charging a higher price at the checkout. Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey is seeking an injunction, restitution, and civil penalties.
We'll use our Consumer Protection Division and the Missouri Merchandising Practices Act to prevent any deceptive, fraudulent, or unscrupulous business practices to protect Missourians and their hard-earned dollars.
The AG's office conducted investigations at 147 Missouri Dollar General locations and found overcharging at 92 of them. The price differences were as high as $6.50. The Dow from Stifel up 341 points to 34,917. And on the roads right now, there is some congestion on 55 North before Route Z. A stalled vehicle 6440 North on the exit from 44. Two vehicle crash on 55 going south before Broadway. The right lane is closed. And some road work blocking things up on 170 South on the ramp from 270 East.
No weather concerns at all going through our Thursday afternoon. Sunshine in control. 78 today. City probably about 80, 81. Then tonight, clear skies, 70s for evening plans, 49 for the overnight low, the city about 55. Friday, sunny, 78. Saturday, partly sunny, maybe a spot shower or sprinkle during the afternoon into the early evening. Don't expect much. 78 for the high. Sunday, keep it coming, partly sunny, and 78. I'm meteorologist Dave Murray for the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
We've got sun and 76 in Florissant, 76 St. Peter's, and 76 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Time to rewind. It's the Chris and Amy Rewind Recap.
Hey, we got the Golden Knights coming in, not the hockey team, but the U.S. Army parachute team. They're going to be with us bottom of the hour. They are here in studio right now. They're circling. They're circling the studio like the plane does before they jump out of it. They'll be at the Balloon Glow this weekend at Forest Park, performing tomorrow night and then Saturday afternoon. We're looking forward to that. We talked about Mitt Romney to Major Garrett. Mitt has decided to not run for another term in the U.S. Senate. He says that it's time for a younger generation of politicians to decide the future for the country, but also that he is going to be sticking around for a little bit, and he's still got some work to do. And we also talked about the impeachment process and those proceedings beginning as Republicans are trying to do the same of Joe Biden.
Speaker of the House has told lots of committees to continue their work on developing information that might lead to a formal impeachment proceeding against the president. It's not dramatically different, but it invokes that word, impeachment, that starts the process rolling. And experience has taught us, once you start that process rolling, it is very hard to stop it. Very hard to stop it. It takes on a life of its own.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's going to be successful. There's a lot of infighting in the Republican Party in the House of Representatives. As Major told us, there doesn't really appear to be at this point an appetite in the U.S. Senate on the part of Republicans to move forward with this, but it's going to happen.
Yeah, and we did talk, speaking of infighting within the Republican Party, like I said, there is this chasm within the Republican Party. There is a rift between the old school conservative, classical liberal, small government, free market Republicans, Reagan Republicans, and this newer brand of Republican that is antagonistic, very populist, some would say just Trumpian, right? Represented in that. And the Republican Party feels like it's been hijacked by the latter party, the Trumpian party. Even without Donald Trump, that monster has been let loose. And we talked about how Republicans are trying to out-Republican each other. And instead of the fringes being checked and reeled in by the leaders of the party has been hijacked by the fringe. Well, now being fringe is considered an asset. So if more people agree with you and you're not really fringe, you're not super conservative, super Republican, well, you're not special. So you've got to become even more fringy. And in that way, the Republican Party is losing control of its members. The Democratic Party has, as a unit, moved distinctively to the left. Bill Clinton would be a Republican today, at least by old standards. He would seem far too moderate for the Democratic Party, which as a unit has moved far more progressive. However, the fringier members of the Democratic Party, like Bernie Sanders, like AOC, and I think they won't be fringe for long. I think AOC is representative of a younger group of Democrats. But right now, the leaders of the Democratic Party, like Nancy Pelosi, are keeping them in check. They haven't yet been hijacked by the fringe members. I think there's a big difference in that.
Yeah, and you know what? When we were talking about bipartisanship and how I believe, even though there are, it's not an insignificant amount of people who believe that the party that they root for, like it's a team, should never give in to the other side, should win at all costs. There are too many people like that. While that exists, I believe most people want the two sides to at least have some compromise and at least work together. Here's how bad it is. This morning on CNN, they had U.S. Senator Mike Rounds, who is a Republican, and they had Chuck Schumer together doing a joint interview on CNN. I believe they were in the Capitol building doing that interview, and Rounds out of Dakota. Everybody knows Chuck Schumer. And it was striking to me. I was watching it thinking, oh my gosh, there's a Republican and a Democrat standing next to each other doing an interview. It should not be that startling to me to see two members of opposite parties conducting an interview at once. It shouldn't be like that. And it was about the artificial intelligence summit that they held, talking with various leaders in technology and the government about what they should do. And it was after that. And I know it's not healthcare, it's not abortion, it's not some of the more hot button topics, but still it's compromise, and it's two people working together from different parties. It should not be a slap in the face. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe these two guys are standing next to each other.
It shouldn't be shocking.
Yes.
It should be what we expect of leaders. And I think while politics has always been ugly, criticisms and insults have always been hurled across the aisle. The negative partisanship is something that is, I think, accelerated right now. It's amplified, where I don't even know what I believe. All I know is that if you like it, I don't.
Yes.
If you're for it, I'm against it. I think that's stronger than ever.
Let's talk about something when we come back here on the Chris and Amy show. It is new polling that came out yesterday about how younger people, so between the ages of 18 and 35, how they view men and women, how they view the opposite sex in terms of dating, and how politics is intertwined there. It's really some interesting findings, though not all that surprising. That's next on KMOX.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to KMOX for all the news, sports, talk, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
It's football season at Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas, featuring the best pool in history. Stadium Square, 3 levels, 6 pools, and a 143-foot diagonal screen. Stadium Swim is America's favorite place to watch football.
Touchdown! Unbelievable!
Stadium Swim, located at Circa Resort and Casino. Book today at CircaLasVegas.com. That's CircaLasVegas.com.
Can you imagine efficiency and productivity at an all-time high?
Everyone is happier.
And everything is cleaner.
You no longer have to think about all the junk that's in your way.
We're 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
You're incredibly good at what you do.
We're good at what we do, too.
Why not outsource the cleanup to us?
Put us in the game, Coach. Put us in the game.
We're industrial strength magicians.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
RENNER. Hey, it's the Cardinal Cowboy, letting you know that my friends at Renner have been repairing and replacing garage doors in St. Louis for over 50 years. Residential and commercial. RENNER. Forward and back. Renner, the garage door company that does. RennerDoorSTL.com. Giddy up!
For a limited time, First Community is offering an 18-month certificate of deposit that pays 5% annual percentage yield and a 12-month certificate that pays 4.25% annual percentage yield. Unlike some high-risk investments, CDs are fully insured to keep your savings safe, and a return on your investment is guaranteed. Requires a $500 minimum deposit to open. Call 1-800-767-8880 for terms and conditions. Federally insured up to $250,000 by NCUA.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But inflation and recession has you wondering if all your hard-earned equity will still be there. What if you could recession-proof your equity right now? You can with Truehold. Truehold will buy your home for its best current value before a recession can erode it. You get to bank all the cash now and live in your home for as long as you want. And Truehold covers all property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. And since Truehold pays your home's current value in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't wait for inflation, recession, and interest rates to erode your home's value. Visit Truehold.com and discover how much Truehold will buy your home for today, based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. That's Truehold.com.
Spark St. Louis is the newest collaborative co-working office space located in the PwC Pennant Building at Ballpark Village. Spark supports local entrepreneurs and corporate professionals and features over 80 private offices, day pass options, monthly networking events, conference room, and special event amenities, while offering an innovative approach to city life where you can live, work, and watch the Cardinals play all within the neighborhood at Ballpark Village. Schedule your tour today by visiting Spark St. Louis online at spark-stl.com.
Hi, Joe Buck for New Space. If you're tired of all the closets in your home having wire shelving, call the organization experts at New Space. New Space can remove your wire shelving and upgrade your home with a customized closet system that optimizes every square inch of storage space, because life's too short for wire shelving. Let New Space design and install the closet of your dreams. Go to newspace.com to get started with a complimentary consultation and design.
With a New Space.
That's newspace.com.
Listen to live Black Eye Free audio from every major league club.
And Aaron Judge with some thump.
Stream video of minor league games.
That's a go-ahead grand slam.
And watch the best baseball highlights and look-ins on MLB Big Inning. The all-new At Bat is your all-in-one live baseball subscription for only $3.99 per month.
There she goes. Home run. Pete Alonso.
Subscribe to At Bat within the MLB app today.
Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission.
We go where you go. 1120 AM, 98.7 FM, KMOX.com.
Chris and Amy on KMOX.
I don't like the enthusiasm and rapidity with
Well,
which you responded to what I just said.
Change Research did a survey of young people between the ages of 18 and 34 in the United States between August 25th and September 1st. And it was about dating and what you can, and a lot about politics and what you consider to be a red flag in dating somebody else or a green flag. And before we started, Amy's looking at the survey and she goes, I've got a lot of these red flags. And I said, yeah.
He lost it. He just was like enthusiastic, like, oh, baby, do you ever have those red flags?
So just to start off, they asked how people identify politically. Women, 41% saw themselves as progressive, 23% saw themselves as liberal. So 64% of women saw themselves on the left.
Sure. Not a surprise.
Not a surprise. Men, about 39%. So there's a huge difference. 39% saw themselves as more left. And then obviously the numbers are flipped on the other side. What I think is interesting here, and there are a lot of findings, what they did was they asked people, do you consider each of the following behaviors or traits a green, beige, or red flag in a partner? Beige flag means, doesn't really matter much. You know what a red flag is. Everybody knows what a red flag is. Green flag means, hell yeah, that's a good thing. I'm glad they have that. Was there something that really stood out to you? Because there are a couple here for me.
So, well, there are ones that stand out because they're funny, like preferring cow milk over any other non-dairy milk. That one is kind of funny. As far as red flag,
men saw it as a green flag. 42% of men thought it was a green flag if you use real milk and not almond milk.
I will
That's
say,
a lot.
I would consider it if you have to be forced. Let's say the beige flag doesn't exist. If it's just red or green flag, non-dairy milk is a red flag for me. And I say this as someone who has had lactose issues.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's because there's something simple about like cream in your coffee, right? Versus I don't like coconut milk. I think almond milk tastes like paint. And people say, oh, you haven't tried it. Trust me. I've tried all of it. I even had to take Lactaid. Remember that?
No, I know what Lactaid is. I don't know about your Lactaid usage.
I've done it. I've done all the milks. I like regular milk.
Well, I know this. 42% of men would not like dating me because I kind of like oat milk.
So for a hot minute, and by a hot minute, I mean about 1/3 of a Starbucks drink, I thought, I like this. And then I took a few more sips and I thought, I don't like this. You know what I don't like about, this is not the point. We got to keep going. But the point is, I don't like the fillers. Like the gum, like the gum
I
and
agree with that.
I don't like that. That's why I like regular milk. Okay, here's another thing I will say quickly. What I did notice, extremes on the left and extremes on the right were considered red flags. For instance, now I will say, being a MAGA Republican was a red flag to 76% of women.
3/4 of women thought it was a red flag if a guy was a MAGA Republican.
But
that's a huge number.
55% of women, so smaller but still a majority, also saw it as a red flag if you identified as a communist.
I think. Well, yeah. And 64% of men, if they found a woman who was a communist, they thought that was a red flag.
Which is amazing that means 45% of women would date a communist.
Well, but also think about this. Let me go back to MAGA Republican.
Yeah.
So 76%, 3/4, still a huge number of men thought it was a red flag if a woman was a MAGA Republican. 59%. Yeah. I mean, you're getting close to 2/3.
Again,
that's a lot.
These are younger people, and we know that younger people skew to the left.
Yeah.
One thing for me, this is my biggest green flag. They read. If your partner reads a lot, for women, 95% green flag. For men, 91% green flag. So we like literate people who read.
Yeah, well, I would hope so. I love the thing which
but I mean,
kind of
not
is,
just can read. You do read. There's a difference.
Which people who read tend to, I would think, your personality trait, you tend to need details about anything. Details about, hey, where are we going? What are we doing? What's this person all about? Just details.
Yeah.
One of the red flags, because I think this is adjacent to what you're talking about, because I think people who read have more curiosity. It is a red flag for 58% of women if a man says they are so unbothered they never ask for details. For men, that number is 42%.
Yeah. I mean, women looking for a partner and men looking for a partner, you could say sometimes the priorities don't always align.
Well, of course
By
not.
stereotypes. By stereotypes. I'm not saying people aren't deep.
All right, here's one, Amy.
Mhm.
And this one really stuck out to me. This is one of the one things here that really kind of I thought was funny.
Mhm.
Here's a red flag.
Okay.
If they listen to Joe Rogan, the Joe Rogan podcast,
Yeah.
55% of women said it was a red flag if a dude listens to the
Interesting.
Joe Rogan podcast. I think it's a red flag. I know people love Joe Rogan, whatever. That podcast is garbage. And you might think this show is garbage. That's fine. You're allowed that opinion. 35% of dudes, so 1/3% of men, or 1/3 of men think it's a red flag if a woman listens to the Joe Rogan podcast.
So here's interesting. 54% of women find it a red flag if you identify as conservative. That's going to knock me out of a lot of ladies' dating considerations. But 35% of men consider it a red flag if you identify as conservative.
Yeah, that's a third, little over a third. This one also, if they're into astrology.
Oh,
now,
huge red flag.
I think so. Yes.
Huge.
41% of men think it's a red flag if women are into astrology.
Yeah.
Pretty big number.
Yeah.
20% of women, 1/5 of women feel that way about men. Astrology is really silly.
Astrology is the worst. And it's always like, oh my gosh, I'm, all the Scorpions out there. Am I right? The Pisces. I don't look. What are you talking about? It doesn't mean anything.
It's so ridiculous.
I'm sorry to astrologists, astrology fans, not my thing. Astrology and veganism, they tend to go hand in hand. I feel like a lot of vegans are into astrology.
I can't say one way or the other. I don't know.
Vegans are aggressive.
Do you think this is weird? Because we talked about conservatism. Okay. Little over 1/3 of men think it is a red flag if a woman is conservative, like you said. 54% of women, more than half, think it's a red flag if a man is conservative. On the other hand, 33% of men think it's a red flag if a woman is liberal, and only 19% of women think it's a red flag if a man is liberal.
Yeah.
Does that seem about right to you? Is that how you think they would look at it?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think so. I mean, we know that young women are about as progressive as a demographic as you're going to get. So that makes sense. Here's an interesting one that makes me uncomfortable. They take candid pictures of you. Only 10% of women thought that was a red flag. 9% of men thought that was a red flag.
Pretty close.
I mean, how candid are the pictures? Do you know?
Probably.
Do you know how much?
I mean, I think it's.
Are they innocent candid pictures?
Yeah, maybe.
And how many are they?
Maybe like you're walking around Epcot Center or something, and you take a
Epcot.
I don't know why.
Epcot closed, didn't it?
No, Epcot's still a thing.
Epcot's so old.
Tyler looked that up. Is Epcot Center closed? Yeah, and Tyler
called
didn't even look it
Epcot
up. He
Center?
said no, it's not. Yeah, it's still a thing.
Here's the thing. What I always consider it a red flag, and I'm not even in the relationship, but if I see someone who posts avidly on social media, their partner does not, but you can tell they're taking candids or the partner's kind of covering their face because their partner doesn't want to be on social media and that person posts anyway, that's not going to last.
Here's my red flag.
Last.
Here's my red flag.
Yeah.
If it's a lady who insists that you are constantly taking photos of her,
yeah,
so that she can put them of herself on social media.
Yeah.
And there's a person in my life that I'm thinking of. She's the first one I think of. And one time I commented on one of her photos like, wow, you brought a photographer with you. This was a while ago.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm like, dude, you're just asking your boyfriend to do nothing but take photos of you so you can put them on Instagram.
Yeah.
That is a red flag to me.
That's a huge red flag.
Obnoxious.
Yeah.
It is so obnoxious. Now, this is maybe the most important number of the whole thing, I think. Remember the whole conversation we had about iPhones and green bubbles and blue bubbles and how you all idiots with your iPhones lose your minds over the green bubbles? The amount of people who consider it a red flag if they get green texts from you Only 7% of women between the ages of 18 and 34 think it's a red flag to get a green text. Only 6% of men feel that way. So, of the young generation, they don't care about the stupid green bubble. Less than 1 in 10.
That's going to be the downfall of society.
No, they don't care because it doesn't matter. The green bubble doesn't matter. It's you being
I'm
a
going to
big
make
baby.
a T-shirt that's a green bubble, red flag.
That's actually pretty good.
I know.
It's pretty good.
I know.
Except the young don't agree with you.
What about this? Okay. They say there are only 2 genders. If someone says there are only 2 genders, 25% of women say that's a green flag if you say there are only 2 genders. 58% of women say it's a red flag. Conversely, 46% of men say it's a green flag if you say there are only 2 genders, and 34% of men say it's a red flag. That's a lot of numbers.
That does not surprise me at all. Also, young people are really worried about their finances later in life. They don't think they're going to be able to buy a home or retire.
Yeah. Also, having
that's
no
part of
hobbies is bad.
Yeah, you got to have some hobbies.
Have some hobbies.
Golden Knights are here. The parachute team, U.S. Army. They're coming up next on KMOX.
Hi, this is Carson Daly, inviting you to be part of Odyssey's mental health initiative, I'm Listening. As a dedicated mental health advocate, it is my great honor to again be hosting this awesome 2-hour special. We'll be joined by mental health experts, artists, and athletes, including Selena Gomez, Kelly Clarkson, Ed Sheeran, Thomas Rhett, SZA, Halsey, Richard Sherman, and your stories of hope and strength. Connect with us right here for I'm Listening.
Thursday, September 21st at 7 p.m. Sponsored by Compass Health Network. We're here for you.
Now is the time to replace your home's exterior during Banner Construction's 30th anniversary with Same as Cash financing. Beautify the exterior of your home and save with famous James Hardie siding and Pella windows. James Hardie looks and feels like real wood with no maintenance. Call now for special financing. Let Banner Construction's exterior design team give you a free quote. Call 314-569-1050. That's 569-1050 or online, bannerconstruction.com. And have a banner day.
We all know how important nutrition is to our health, so why don't we do something about it? With Neovitin Men's 50 Plus, you can give your body sensible doses of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants to support your daily health. Formulated for men over 50, Neovitin Men's 50 Plus gives you B vitamins to support energy and our proprietary physician-formulated blend for daily support you won't find anywhere else. Do something about your health today with Neovitin Men's 50 Plus. Available at your local Schnucks and Deerbergs.
How many of you think taxes will go up in the future? And if they do, who will get hit the hardest? Most people say millionaires. But what about you, headed for retirement? You've been saving in that 401k or IRA, and that money has never been taxed. And Uncle Sam is looking at that account like it's a big, juicy steak. What can you do about it? You can call the All Financial Group and attend their upcoming Taxes in Retirement event on September 26th or the 28th. They believe a financial plan is not a retirement plan without tax-efficient strategies. And if you don't check off this important box, you could see your Social Security check go down and your Medicare premiums go up. Fund your retirement, not Uncle Sam's. September the 26th or 28th, call 636-230-8824. That's 636-230-8824. Or go online to yourmoneymattersstl.com. Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice.
At 12:30, some sun, 77 degrees downtown at the Arch. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy is telling fellow Republicans threatening to oust him, go ahead and try. If you're going to do it, McCarthy said, using a profanity for emphasis, according to those in the private meeting. Johnson & Johnson is signing off on a new logo more than 130 years after creating the old one. The healthcare giant says it will replace the well-known signature script with a modern look that reflects its sharpened focus on pharmaceuticals and medical devices.
I'm Tom Ackerman. A day off for the Cardinals. They're back at it at Busch Stadium tomorrow night at 7:15 against the Phillies, and free agent to be starter Aaron Nola. Zach Thompson will pitch for St. Louis. Another lefty last night, Drew Rom, went 5 1/3 scoreless and posted his first major league win as the Cardinals blanked the Orioles 1-0 to take yet another series. They took all 3 series on their road trip. This report sponsored by Aloha Pools USA. Swim next summer, alohapoolsusa.com.
We've got some debris to watch out for. 44 going east at Jameson. The debris is in the left lane. Some slow-moving road work on 55 north to 270 north. The left lane there is closed. Tons of sun today with the high of 78, says Dave Murray. Clear tonight, chilly, low 49. Lots of sun for tomorrow with the high of 78. Sponsored by Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is your premier provider of fences, decks, patios, sunrooms, and more. Call them for a free estimate today. Now offering 20% off your next outdoor project. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, chesterfieldfence.com. Sun 77 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Broadcasting from the Underlaw Injury Lawyers. GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
I can't tell you how dangerous it is to have flickering lights, faulty outlets, or outdated electrical systems. Reinhold Electric is your electrician. If you can hear my voice, you know they can take care of your home, your business, or industrial setting. Reinhold Electric services all over the Midwest, St. Louis and Southern Illinois. Also, Springfield, Missouri just came online. Lake of the Ozarks, Lake St. Louis, and Kansas City. 314-631-1158. Online, ReinholdElectric.com.
When choosing a skilled nursing memory care community, considered by U.S. News and World Reports as a best memory care community, choose Park Provence, where expert care is not cost prohibitive because they understand the challenges of today. For nearly 20 years, Park Provence has been the experts at treating dementia and Alzheimer's disease. If you're faced with making a difficult decision for your loved one, call today at 314-542-2500 or visit parkprovence.com. That's P-A-R-C Provence.com.
Experience the thrill of St. Louis Blues hockey live at Enterprise Center with a mini plan. Plans start at just 6 games and include many of your favorite matchups, giveaway nights, and more. If you're looking to get closer to the action, select plans are now available on the Plaza level. All purchasers get the same seat at every game, a discount off the gate price, and select plans include a flexible payment plan option and a merchandise discount at STL Authentics. Get your Blues mini plan now at stlouisblues.com/tickets.
It's Chiefs football this Sunday as they face the Jacksonville Jaguars. Pre-game at 11, kickoff 12 noon, and you can hear the game on 97.1 FM Talk.
How many sharks are in the Mississippi River? Between 1 and 1,000. Through extensive studies that I've done, personal research, Shark Week from 94 all the way till now, I can conclude that there's a lot of sharks in the Mississippi River. So you're about to jump out of this plane. Is that your biggest fear, that you're going to end up in the river with the sharks? Absolutely.
That was last year. He
Yeah.
was Staff Sergeant Gabriel Colon with the U.S. Army Golden Knights, and we were in the plane, and he was getting ready to jump out. And I bet, oh gosh, what are there, like a dozen of you in the plane at a given time? About 12 people. I think 9 or 10 of them said they were terrified of the water and terrified of sharks. And joining us in studio right now, Specialist Brandon Hexum and SSG Nahu Ramirez, both U.S. Army Golden Knights, with us in studio. They'll be performing at the Balloon Glow in Forest Park tomorrow night and then Saturday afternoon. Guys, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
Are you afraid of the water?
Every now and then, especially when we're getting out at night, out of the plane at night and jumping onto the drop zone and there is water near us. It's pretty terrifying.
Brandon, are you afraid of it?
Not really. We were flying over the other day and the river looked pretty low, so I think we're good.
That's a powerful river.
That is true.
You shouldn't be getting really anywhere near it.
Is that why you're in the air, because it's as far away from water? Like you're getting far away from the water?
That's what I asked these guys. And here's what they told me. They said, I know there's nothing in the air that can eat me. I don't know what's in the water.
That's very true.
Come on, guys. Jumping on, there's not much more terrifying to me than jumping out of an airplane or heights. And meanwhile, here you doing it every day, multiple jumps a day sometimes, and that's perfectly fine, but it's the water that gets you.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have much control over the water. At least with our parachutes, we train year round and know what we're doing with these systems. and we're very comfortable bringing them into tight landing zones throughout the country.
When did the Golden Knights start?
Back in 1959.
1959. So Korea, like the Korean War, about that time.
Probably a little bit after.
Yeah.
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 That sounds about right.
Yeah. So how did you both get into it? We'll start with you, Brandon. I know you were telling us during the break you're from Peoria.
That's
just
right.
a few hours away from here.
So I had my skydiving license before joining the Army, and I actually got licensed in Missouri. But I was jumping out at Skydive Chicago, and I ran into the Golden Knights. Prior to talking to them, I didn't really have any intentions of joining the Army. Then after talking to them and kind of seeing what they do, it opened my eyes, and ultimately I decided to join the Army, and here I am.
That's actually very cool. And what's funny is you said you were skydiving in Chicago when you ran into the Golden Knights, the parachute team. It sounds like in the air, like you ran into the Golden Knights.
People are like, hey!
Oh my gosh, there they are. Yeah,
I was on the ground.
Okay.
How many jumps had you done before you met up with them? And
I had a little over 100, and this is my first year, and I'm over 550 right now. So I do quite a bit of jumping, about 400 and something the past year and a half.
Is it still an element of thrill to it, or does it feel like walking downstairs at this point?
There's definitely a thrill. We're always training to get better, so a lot of the jumps aren't typically the same. So there's always excitement there.
Mm-hmm.
Nahu, I know you said you're from California originally. How did you get into this?
So I grew up in Wildomar, California, and across the street there was a drop zone. So every morning before I went to school or on the weekends, you would see skydivers. So I told my parents, like, hey, I want to jump out of a plane. They're like, no, you're crazy. So on my 18th birthday, I paid for myself. I went up and did a tandem skydive, and I instantly fell in love. I knew that one day in the future I would become a skydiver and be licensed. So then I enlisted in the military right after high school. About 6 years in, I got my skydiving license, and now this is my second year on the Golden Knights, and I have a little bit over 850 skydives.
So,
oh my
well, hold
gosh.
on. When you went to jump for the first time, you just did it without telling them?
Yeah,
Oh, no.
it was something
How'd
that
that go over?
Well, I mean, they were happy. Eventually,
Came home.
the age limit's 18, so I walked over there. I signed the waiver, and I was like, take my money, take me up on this plan. I want to experience thrill.
Did you say that first jump was tandem?
Yes.
Okay, because I don't think they do this anymore. But our old producer, Chris Myhill, he was going to go skydiving with his friend and Jack Buck, the famed Cardinals broadcaster. And apparently, the morning they were going to go skydiving, Jack called Chris and goes, well, Carol said I can't go. So Jack Buck was not allowed to go skydiving, but Chris Myhill did. And the way they had him do it, it was not tandem. I guess his parachute rope was tied to the plane. He like crawled down to the wing and then jumped out, and it pulled the rope for him. That company no longer exists. But have you heard of that type of diving?
Yes,
skydiving?
static line.
Okay.
I know in the military, a lot of the guys do it, and some drop zones have gone away. Oh, most drop zones around the world have gone away with it just because of the way it is.
Because the plane has to be pretty low to do it.
Yes.
Right?
Mhm.
And it puts everybody in danger of getting hit. Is that the deal?
Yeah, so the static rope itself could get tangled up in the tail of the wing and something like that, and it's a lot of safety measures that people don't want to take, so it could endanger everyone else's life on the aircraft.
So the first few times you jumped with the Knights, what was that like? Is it terrifying? I mean, you've jumped before, but now you're doing it with a group that's pretty elite. So what was that like for you?
So the first time I jumped with the Golden Knights was during the selection process. And I would say that was a little terrifying just because I wanted to make it and I knew I was under a microscope.
Well, that's is that an audition?
Yeah, there's a 8-week
wow,
selection
okay.
process that you have to go through. And then if you're selected, that's when you become a Golden Knight.
Now that does seem a little nerve-wracking, and you went through the same process.
Yes.
How do you get to that point where they say, well, we've got your credentials, you've had this many jumps before this, now you have to jump with us and we'll see if we like you?
So to start off, yes, you need at minimum 100 skydives and then be enlisted in the military. And just like Brandon was saying, you go through a selection. So you apply to become a Golden Knight. Once they accept your packet, you go through an 8 to 10 week selection where you're jumping 10 to 15 times a day, and you're getting assessed on personality and how well you can work with one another as a team member. Around week 6 or 7, that's when Gold and Black team both come in and meet the candidates, and they're introduced to their teams, and they get to see, like, let's say, for example, if Brandon Hexum has what it takes to become a Golden Knight. So, of course, even myself, when I was on the plane with Black team, or when I went through selection, it was a little hectic. I only had about 170 skydives, and then these guys have hundreds, maybe even thousands, and they know what they're doing. They've gone on the road for many years, and they're like doing some crazy stunts out there, and they're expecting me to keep up with them. So it is a little nerve-wracking.
Because you're jumping with a group of other people. You have to be in the right place, otherwise it's dangerous anyway. But you have to. So how do you go from just jumping out of an airplane and getting yourself to the ground to, all right, I'm jumping out of this plane and we're doing maneuvers in the sky, and we're doing it in tandem with other people, so we have to be careful. So to get to that point, what sort of training do you need?
There's always a walkthrough on the ground. We call it a dirt dive. So even before we do any jump, even if we've done the same jump hundreds of times, we still walk through it on the ground before we take it up into the sky. So it always starts from the ground, and we'll always walk through it, and then training obviously kind of irons everything out.
How many, you might have said this, how many Golden Knights are there on both teams?
Usually about 10 to 12 with a full group of men. There are times where certain teams are a little number-wise, like we're not there, so we have to borrow from Gold team or other teams along the Golden Knights.
And how long do you get to stay on that team? Is this something that's like you have a term and it's a rotation?
So there isn't really a time standard of how long you could be a Golden Knight, because we're a very few selected individuals with all this experience. They try to keep us as long as we possibly can, which is why every year we have new candidates to help feed into those numbers. I think the longest someone's been on the Golden Knights is about 20 to 22 years. So
Wow.
Well, that's a long time.
Yes.
How many jumps? Yeah, how many jumps would that be
That's
career?
thousands. Thousands and thousands.
Like 11,000 or so.
We are in studio with 2 of the U.S. Army Golden Knights, Specialist Hexum and SSG Ramirez. And guys, like I said, I went up last year, and I was fascinated by how it works. The door is open to the back of the plane the entire time. And as soon as we get off the ground, there were a couple of you who were just leaning over the edge like it was nothing, just looking out. And then you explain the process of dropping it's like paper mache, right?
Yeah, so pieces of crepe paper. So the team leader is looking out the door. He's looking for the target. And as they're coming inbound on the aircraft, as the aircraft is coming inbound on that pass, he waves his hand down, signifying the next person has to throw those pieces of crepe paper out the plane. Those pieces of crepe paper simulate what our parachute would do in the sky if we did absolutely nothing. So they end up drifting to a certain spot. From there, the team leader takes that distance and moves it over upwind to get a general direction and area of where he would like the first jumper to exit and open his parachute.
And so when I was watching it, the plane circled, because this will be in Forest Park. You circled Forest Park multiple times. There were, if I remember right, multiple drops like that. So it's not like a thing where you just go straight to the spot and jump right out of the plane. You're constantly measuring, and they were shouting numbers. What are the numbers, and why were you doing that so frequently?
So the wind at every altitude changes direction and like the strength. So as the plane is coming in on the target, the wind readings get measured through the pitot tube, and that's when the crew chief either calls 20 miles per hour off the nose or 20 miles per hour off the tail, 15 miles per hour left to right. With those numbers, the team leader is always calculating where he wants the plane to move as we fly up to altitude and release the first jumper.
So when you say you can land in pretty tight spaces, what is like a small radius? Like what is your margin for error where we can hit an area so many square feet? What is your margin for error?
So we're all expected to hit the target, and the dead center is about the size of a dinner plate.
Oh my gosh.
So it's
Oh
pretty
my
small.
gosh.
Yeah, that's.
I was thinking like 30 feet by 30 feet.
So tomorrow, and I don't have
Wow.
either of you jumped at this location before?
Yes, I was here last year.
So you were here last. Oh,
Mhm.
so I was on the plane.
Yeah, you
Hey,
were.
how's it going, man?
Yeah,
Good to see you.
yeah.
But you had a guy on the plane. Was his name Turbo?
Yes, that was our crew chief.
Crew chief, and he runs up and down the plane and
Yeah,
yells.
screaming, yelling numbers.
That was great.
that's him.
That was great. Okay, so you will jump at night tomorrow.
Yes.
How much more difficult is it to jump when it's dark?
It's just a little more. There's a lot more that we have to take into consideration. I know, for me, it's when we throw those night weedies and trying to locate where they're at. Other lights in the surrounding area, kind of mask it, so it's very difficult. But we have our ground guy down there on the drop zone with 2 lights aiming at the target, and we also have little blue and yellow lights signify or in line or in an arrow line to signify which direction we should be landing.
And if I have this right, the first person who jumps out gets to the ground is the MC.
Yes.
And when you're here, when you're listening, you're at the show tomorrow or Saturday, and you're listening to the person explain everything that's happening, jumping out of the plane. That was the guy who just jumped. Guy who just jumped first.
Yep. He's the narrator. He makes sure that he calls up a spot report up to the jump master, the team leader, signifying that the spot was good. It's safe for the rest of the jumpers to get out, and then he takes over the mic and then narrates the entire show.
Wow.
Now I've seen, so obviously Forest Park, seen that, and then I've seen videos of your teams jumping near oceans on top of. I think it was onto an aircraft carrier.
Yes, Midway,
San Diego
last year.
Wow.
Okay.
Super fun.
Yeah. So this has to be less nerve wracking, right?
Than landing on an
Than
aircraft
landing on
carrier.
an aircraft carrier where the ocean is on. either
Yeah, all 3 sides.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little less, yeah. But what we have to consider here is the balloons, the hot air
Oh,
balloons,
the
because
hot-
yeah,
gosh.
so they're
Yeah.
surrounding the drop zone. I know they take them down at a certain time, about 8:45, right before our jump. But it's still, we have to make sure that we don't land on anyone or on the hot air balloons.
What I like is how even keel you guys are. You're very calm.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're not phased by this. And
A
we said that-
texter here,
yeah.
a listener says, so these people basically fall out of a plane for a living.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And
That's a really cool thing to tell. You meet somebody like,
Well,
hey, what do you
it's-
do for a job? Well, I jump out of an airplane multiple times a day.
Well, and that's why it's got to be great recruiting for the U.S. Army because, as you mentioned, you guys saw skydivers. Kids will come to the show tomorrow. They'll see you guys jumping out of these planes with such precision. I don't know how that isn't a great recruitment tool for people.
It is, especially once we finish the jump, we bring our parachutes out into the field and have kids pack parachutes with us.
Oh, that's
and
awesome. So they can meet you.
Yeah, of course. They meet us. They help us pack our parachutes. It's an enjoyable moment. They're out there and they get to feel it. And then a lot of people try on the parachute after.
Oh,
and
you have
take
the
pictures.
parachute with you?
Yes, I actually brought it in with me today.
How much does it weigh?
About 35 pounds.
Yeah, it looks hefty.
So I saw a thing, and it was a
Oh,
Golden
nice.
Knight. That's really cool. He had
That's awesome.
it was like an intentional failed parachute thing.
Yes, a cutaway maneuver.
Yeah, so the parachute fails, then he lets it go, and then doesn't. And there are 3 of them in the bag at the time, right?
Yes.
Why would you do something like that?
So it's to show everyone what it would be like if we actually did have an emergency malfunction. Our traditional parachute system, just like this one, has 2 parachutes, the reserve up here and the main at the bottom. The cutaway maneuver has a 3rd parachute stacked on top. So he releases that one. That one cannot be landed because of the risers that are on a thin pin. So he has to release it, spin uncontrollably for about 10 seconds at
Oh.
90 miles
That's
per hour,
terrifying. Yeah.
release it, and then deploy a second one.
Oh my gosh. 10 seconds at 90 miles an hour is a very long time.
Real quick, has a shoot ever failed on either of you, and what happened? No.
No, just the cutaway maneuver. So it was planned.
Doesn't that still? I don't know.
And I gotta say,
love
the
doing
Golden
it.
Knights, 1959, which would have been several years into the Vietnam War, not the Korean. People are gonna write in.
Amy,
People are gonna write
Amy,
in. The phone is blowing up.
we've moved past it.
I have been stuck on it.
Brandon Hexum, Nahu Ramirez, they are jumping out of an airplane tomorrow night at Forest Park at the Balloon Glow. What time?
The Glow, yes.
At the Glow?
Yep.
What time will that be?
We will be jumping at 9 p.m.
9 p.m. That happens tomorrow, and then prior to the race on Saturday again.
Yes, at 3 p.m.
Awesome. Thanks for coming in, guys.
Thank you
I'll
having
be at
us.
I'll be at the beer tent.
They're like, okay.
I'll be like, that looks really hard. I'll be down here.
They could land on a dinner plate. That's what he's going to be telling people.
I saw it. U.S. Army Golden Knights in studio with us. Thanks for coming in, guys.
Thank you.
This is KMOX.
STL Fenceworks has been serving the St. Louis, the St. Charles, the Franklin, and Warren counties for over 50 years. That goes back to 1971 when Russ and Carolyn Long opened STL Fenceworks, and now their son, Sean Timothy Long, he runs the company, and they are proud and excited to install American-made aluminum and vinyl fence products, as well as American-made decking. I love sitting outside on the deck. It's an absolutely gorgeous weekend. So let's talk about decks. With STL Fenceworks, they are the #1 distributor of Wolf cellular PVC decking in the Midwest that's proudly manufactured right here in the United States. And it is the #1 maintenance-free decking company, decking product in the country. At STL Fenceworks, they can make your outdoor space magical, whether it's with a deck or with a fence. Maybe you need a little bit of privacy. Maybe you need some division, give your yard its own space and really set that out. They can also put in a vinyl fence, or they can do a tan, clay, gray, variegated wood grain vinyl fence products, and all of those are made in the U.S. At STL Fenceworks, your satisfaction is their passion. Visit them today at stlfenceworks.com.
Join KMOX and support our effort to collect diapers going on now through September 30th. Come out and donate new or unused diapers of any size and brand in support of National Diaper Need Awareness Week. September 27th, you can catch us at the Ruler Foods Collinsville, Illinois location. September 29th, see us at the Ruler Foods St. Anne location and make your donations. You can also drop off diapers at the St. Louis Diaper Bank, Monday through Friday, 10 till 2 p.m., all month long.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
I'm Jim Onder. When you're injured and in your darkest hour, Onder Law is not only on your side, we're by your side.
Onder Law. Call 314 or 618-9000 to learn more.
With the Wholesale Formula Seminar, find out how to start your own Amazon business.
This is Nick Chouquette. I lost a lot of money on a failed landscaping business and had to move in with my dad. After attending the Wholesale Formula Seminar, I went from having no job to $1 million in revenue on Amazon just 2 years later.
Hi, it's Emric Manello. When I first immigrated to the United States, I had no idea how I was going to earn a living. I attended the Wholesale Formula Seminar, and my first year on Amazon, I did over $700,000 in sales.
My name is Jeremiah Holbrook. I've sold over $10 million on Amazon thanks to what I learned from the Wholesale Formula.
Whether you have a business and want to sell more on Amazon, retired, or just need extra money, America's Amazon expert Dylan Frost will show you how. Attend Dylan's live in-person seminar for only $49.99, guaranteed, or your money back. That's right. Discover the easy way to make money with Amazon. Meet Dylan Frost at the Wholesale Formula live 2-hour seminar Saturday, September 30th, 11 a.m. at Aviator Hotel, Lindbergh Boulevard, St. Louis, Missouri. Register at thewholesaleformula.com.
Fall is here. Baseball, beautiful weather, and the changing colors of trees and shrubs. When you think of your trees, call family-owned Gamma Tree Experts. Fall is a great time to prune and fertilize your valuable trees. Our staff of certified arborists will survey your trees to determine their needs. Knowledge and quality are hallmarks of our reputation. Call Gamma Tree Experts at 314-725-6159 or visit us at gammatree.com. Your trees deserve the best care.
Make the Goodwill choice. Donate to Goodwill and help put people to work right here in St. Louis. And help yourself to a Lion's Choice famous roast beef sandwich. Clean out those closets and cabinets. Take your donations to Goodwill during the month of September, and you'll get a coupon for an original Lion's Choice roast beef sandwich, courtesy of Lion's Choice. Give hope. Give local. Give Goodwill. It's the right choice for Lion's Choice. Hurry, supplies are limited. Get details at mersgoodwill.org.
Tom Ackerman for Building Community with Busey Bank, a podcast series easily accessible at KMOX.com/community banking. Our goal to bring awareness to local organizations and share how they're bettering our community. Dream Builders for Equity is doing exactly that with a unique approach that touches youth, residents, businesses, and real estate to transform neighborhoods in North St. Louis.